it's okay. It's nothing criminal that they're doing, but
no, it's nothing
at
criminal.
the rate at which they take their annual leaves at the end of the end of the year. So sometimes people still work with the description of that it's the wedding season, which technically starting was from last month all the way now to the end of the year, the wedding season.
Yeah.
But for those that are already
then just 1 month for divorce, January, but go on.
Okay. Don't be that pessimistic, but yeah, we're trying to wish positivity into the air.
Look, man, if I'm too broke to get married,
and make the good vibes reverberate everywhere.
Look, if I'm too broke to get married, I'll just trash talk marriage until I have money to get married. Then I'll start,
Or you will continuously, every time that you get paid, you recharge the marriage.
Yeah.
So 3 weeks of the month you are divorced, and the 4th week
definitely
you're married again. That's not. Please, guys, don't take our advice, ne?
Don't.
None of us are married. Okay, Helmut is symbolically married. I'm not married.
Symbolically. Oh yeah, I'm symbolically polygamous.
Listen now, remembering his commitments.
You think any one of them is listening?
Yes. They definitely been listening. So it's even making me cough now. So, when people run away every December for their holidays, for those running to the coast, they go bump into their bosses at the coast who they were trying to escape by being at the coast, not knowing that the boss also owns a property at the coast. And for those that obviously go to the village, whether it be north, south, east, west, now you go there and your grandmother or your mother decides that you have to come and work some more.
December is plowing season.
Yes. Now, that's why I said, Hamun, it can be a holiday destination. It can become a slightly more homely setup. In my perspective, I probably would have been disowned if I experienced the same kind of, I'm running away from work to come and rest. Now you're making me work again. I wouldn't have been the best son, I know, at that moment, because I would have countered such logic. You can't make me work some more. If I only have this 1 week, this 1 month to recharge. So yeah, now it can become a tourist situation setup, but this is also where I believe, once again, that local authorities have to play a bigger role. The local authorities have themselves to invest in, let's for example say, just tar a road, man, into the rural communities around your constituencies. Just put up some street signs, some indicators of something that says this is now Dwight's Bridge or Helmut's collective of a community. Because people would really like to escape to other parts of Namibia, and they would really like to engage in and interact with other parts of Namibia. People don't want to just run to Swakop and then go bump into their bosses, their ex-bosses, their ex-girlfriends, their ex-husbands, ex-wives, ex-boyfriends at the same coast in Swakop. That's not what a holiday for Namibians.
Ex-Bentens.
Ex-sugar babies, since I would mention Bentens. Ex-sugar babies. We can't just have one coastal hotspot. And it can't just be Henties, Valvis, and Swakop. Lutres also now has to pull up its weight. For a change.
You do realize there is a reason why we are locating all the wind turbines there, right?
I know.
That means if I have to go to...
but have you seen the photos of Lutres, Hamon? Lutres it's a scenic place.
I'm talking about the wind, right?
So we are on tourism here.
So that means if you weigh less than 50 kg, you need a backpack that has at least a couple of rocks to increase the weight. So back to tourism.
We talk about tourism, not about... I'm sure the clothing and everything that's in that backpack will do sufficient justice to hold the person down.
No. Look, I know 3, spaghetti body type people that will be blown away by that wind.
Who?
I don't want to mention any names. Now,
who, Helmut, are you talking about here? You are surprised. Spaghetti type people they can be dense in weight or mass.
How many spaghetti type people do you know?
I played sport against a few, and when you accidentally
Run into?
or run into one of them, those tackles hurt. Just because you've got a lot more flesh on you, somehow that.
I think that would be. I thought that was that would be advantageous for you because it would be some kind of a cushion.
No, some of the most resilient people that I've played sport with were people that you could see their bone to body mass.
Mhm.
The person would be taller than me, but
Yeah.
they'll be because of obviously how their body works. They'll be slim.
Yeah.
I'm saying slim, Helmut,
Yeah.
because you can't see body fat on that person. And then, like, unfortunately, the one cousin that I've got where his dad banned him from playing rugby ever again because he was breaking so many bones.
Ew.
He just gets one tackle, bone broken, and then his dad said, no, just concentrate on your athletics.
Yeah.
Rather do high jump and your sprinting, and you leave the rugby for the other idiots, which was now the rest of us. So yeah, and sports tourism is obviously also something picking up because of the football World Cup that's now taking place.
Yeah.
There are detractors that don't like what America has turned this World Cup into, not just the US red card scandal, but the start of this. When I told you that thing when we had the last tourism discussion, for a Namibian to get a visa to the US, do you have 300,000 lying around? No. So then, yeah, just invest in your pay-per-view, pay-per-view TV package, and rather view the thing
Then
from
you're good
here.
to go, yeah.
I mean, that's it. But for where you can go to, Helmut, let's share with our listeners some of the nice details. So I sometimes like doing this exercise where I would look at, because Google has a function known as Google Travel, and it also shows you like airplane ticket costs.
Yeah.
So I just, between last night and this morning, I just, was musing about, will I be able to get to Reunion? What's the current prices? You sometimes ask that question. So I looked at, now Reunion is an extension of the French Republic. Reunion.
Yeah.
So it's an extension of the mainland of the French, of France proper.
Yeah.
I looked at it, because obviously other details like your visas, will play a separate role in terms of achieving a visa, of getting there. But just you start with a plane ticket. And I said, 14,000 between, I looked at, I picked a random date in August, and, you count a week, 6-7 days, to another date in August. I said, 14 grand, return ticket. Through South Africa,
Sweet.
Johannesburg to Saint-Denis in Reunion, that's their capital.
That's just a ticket.
14,000 Helmut to go there and to come back. It's one price. That means it's 7,000 something
Mm-hmm.
to fly one direction.
Yeah.
Then I looked at, okay, let's compare this, because that's in the African influence zone. Let's compare this price. Let's say if I fly to one of the destinations I would like to go to, Naples in Italy. In the same days in August, 11,000. I'm like,
So it's
I
much
can,
cheaper.
so I can sacrifice. I can save up like 2 salaried months, and then buy the plane ticket, and then I can budget for the visa later on. A plane ticket, return ticket,
Yeah.
fly and come back.
Yeah.
I was like, things are really technically looking up for an African if you want to go and visit Europe. But things don't look up for you as an African if you want to visit the other African.
countries, yeah.
Yeah. That's why I always advise people, rather, if they want to go to South Africa. Yeah, if you're a minister's child, splatter the money on a flight ticket, a 2-hour flight here to Joburg or to Cape Town. Yeah, spend the money.
I think this is where I think this is where a rail transport now is would come in very handy, because I think one thing I like about rail transport is that it doesn't take the traditional road where you are driving in between urban centers for the most part.
Yeah.
You have this forestic panoramic view, like savanna, depending on the terrain that your country finds itself in.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you get to enjoy a lot of the sight views of of the environment around you. That is not a town or someone's fenced or farm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think now just picture a train a passenger train that that takes off from Windhoek, and then and then you have you can go through Harare, you can go through Harare, or you can go through you can just go through Zimbabwe or Zambia into Tanzania or Ethiopia. That will be one heck of a that will be one heck of an experience in terms of the view that you're gonna have. But I don't think the planes don't have that. It's just you and clouds, and then you land.
Well, Hamid, I was on some scary planes there. There in Russia, it's you a middle. If you fly between continents and countries,
Yeah.
that airplane has a lovely. Its fuselage has this lovely sort of like extra layers of between you and the environment outside at 5,000 meters in the sky.
Yeah.
But that 2024 flight where we had to fly from Moscow. No. From Moscow to Sochi, and then from Sochi to Yekaterinburg. Us, that Namibian cluster of journalists. I sat there looking at this plane and I was like, it just takes that one unfortunate event, and then we all are like a can of Coke here in the middle of in the middle of that sky. A can of Coke. And that's what I sat there looking at myself. I was like, do I just wish for this 2 hours to go by quickly? But
So, in other words, you were on a plane that if it was a car somewhere in Southern Africa, it would be a Donkey Botswana.
no, Donkey Botswana is reliable.
Cheers, if Donkey Botswana, actually Donkey Botswana is reliable.
It's reliable. I'm talking about if it was a car, it would have been a donkey car.
Oh, boy.
But here's the thing. You can see the value that it offers, for example, like to the Russian market. Now,
In terms of internal travels.
yeah, and the distances, because it doesn't make sense. Look, if you want to be romantic and enjoy geography, you take the train ride across Russia.
Yes.
Eh? But it'll be long, because it is uneconomical to try and drive the whole Russia on a car. But if you're trying to get to South Africa from Windhoek, I will tell you, buy a coach ticket.
Mm-hmm.
Buy a coach ticket. How much you will see this lovely road here from Riebos.
Mm-hmm.
I won't say from Windhoek, from Riebos.
Yeah.
On the other side of Riebos. You will see how lovely the country looks by coach. And when you get across the Orange River into the North Cape of South Africa, you'll see how lovely that area looks like. And then you understand the geography and the scale and the sights and the sounds of what Southern Africa looks like.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have the money, sure, fly to Joburg, fly to Cape Town. It just doesn't make sense to me to fly if South Africa's right here.
Now that you brought up that a different form of transport and the luxury they offer you into seeing the environment around you as you move from your point A to point B, aka your destination.
Yeah.
I think fellow broke people will understand.
Where now?
You see,
We are all part of that category, that demographic, Helmut.
No. There's a difference between being broke and being financially deficient.
Or temporarily underfunded.
Yeah. Now, look. When I
It's sounding worse than an investment promo.
I know.
Temporarily underfunded.
Can you make it any more darker? Look. The thing is, one thing, no, just from my experience, in not just in Windhoek, but in all the urban areas that I've been to, I think, okay, being broke enabled me to know the town much better.
Yeah.
Yeah, because for the most part, much of the distances that I, that I got to know. I mean, let me just say, I got to know more distances either by walking or taxi or bicycle than than through a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because take for example, if you are you are just going from point A to point B, if you have your own car, for example, because you have a calculated route. But if you're in a cab, for example, you have to take 3, 4, 5 detours because they have to drop off, all these people. So one thing that I enjoy, one thing that that I used to enjoy until I basically got to get tired of Windhoek is now coming home. No, I mean coming to work. I'll just come at least an hour early so that I can just hop in any cab because I don't want to inconvenience the driver because I know that first of all I don't have a car. This is public transport.
Yeah.
Because it's being used by everyone.
Yeah.
I'm not going to tell him to drop me first just because I couldn't keep my time. Yeah. So what?
Oh no, I circumvent that.
How?
Sometimes I tell the cab driver, listen, I've got $30 for you.
Uh,
Can you take me to my stop?
Yeah, you can do that.
And then he says yes,
Yeah,
and then
some
there's
will
like
say-
three passengers already in the car, and they haven't paid this. They were just uploaded on that. Take me there, and I promise to pay.
You'll make an excellent lobbyist. But look, the thing is,
tell you a story also about that.
oh boy,
Yeah, but go on, Helmut, go on.
yeah. Look, the thing is, it's a walking and cab. There are
Yeah.
two things that that got me to know when to much faster.
Yeah.
It was just two things, mostly cab because while walking heavily not advisable, especially when it gets darker and also those shortcuts. So. So
avoid the shortcuts.
yeah, so the same can be said when it comes to traveling outside your country. You can, if you have the money, you can catch a flight. I mean,
Yeah.
it's much faster. They all have their pros and cons, although to different degrees.
Yeah.
You can catch a flight and you're gonna get there faster, but you're not going to enjoy. But if you want to get there faster, you can catch a flight if you have the money. But if you're not in a hurry and you want to enjoy the scenery, then take a bus
Yeah.
or just get a rental. And because then you just be driving as slow as you can. There are two, there's a British couple I ran into in 2019 when I was at Arnas. They told me that they were driving, I think, all the way. They were driving all the way from Etosha. Yeah. Now I'm looking at that distance, and I sort of like felt pity for them. I'm like, what? That's a very long ride. And they're like, no, it's not a big deal. We're just driving as slow as possible so we can take in the view. That's when I realized, oh, hang on a second, that is actually true.
They stop. Helmut, you don't know. I think you've also seen them. But there are so many self-drives of the tourists in Namibia.
Yeah.
Just yesterday here, this spa shop here close to us. The parking lot was full of 4 bakkies. Similar rental bakkies. And they were packing up. I think they just bought like their road supplies.
Mhm.
Packed it up full of that stuff. And they went on their way. I could hear that they were, is it French or Spanish? French or Spanish, one of the two.
Mhm.
So they love doing this. Now, to Namibians, if you're a shop owner, that's good business. That's what you see there. It's good business. They are buying bulk. You get to order more. More money is spent on you than the average Namibian spends on you.
Yeah.
That's good business. However, it's now a discussion of seeing that talk we had yesterday. The one about you remember the example of the hosting of the AFCON with Botswana?
Yeah.
Can Namibia get to the next level?
Of making, just a hospitality type of services
Yeah,
to the
of-
scale that is required to host an event like
Yes.
AFCON.
Yes. So now we're not talking about just Windhoek. Because in many scenarios, And that's why I liked, for example, when we did the World Economic Forum discussion where Wamkele Mene from AFCFTA, and remember the South African guy, the Johan Strydom, the guy from Old Mutual.
Old Mutual, yeah.
Yeah. When those two guys started talking, did you see how silent the other Africans went? Because those two guys were talking like business strategy. So Strydom basically went and said, let's not look at Africa as 54 different economies,
Yeah.
because that makes it difficult for his company.
Mhm.
But what they are trying to find is how to look at Africa as one economy.
One economy.
So you show up with one product and you try to match every economy in that scenario.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter about language, doesn't matter about tradition or culture or whatever. If that product is can be automatically sort of like absorbed into that economy,
Yeah.
way better. Now, for him, it sounds sometimes in Afrikaans we say the word simple is doesn't actually meet the sort of like understanding of how simplistic he's trying to explain it. In Afrikaans we say it's eenvoudig. It corresponds with German's einfach. There's eenvoudig. So the simplistic element he's trying to say is just ship out products from South Africa. I know what the South Africans want to do,
Mhm.
which we Namibians also know what the South Africans want to do, which Mr. Branch also showed us yesterday, what the South Africans love doing. The South Africans want to export as much as possible to the rest of us.
Mhm.
They don't want to import as much as possible from the rest of us. They don't want to do the importation from us, but they want to do all the exportation to us. So it's a balancing act. I think that's also why our president is going to be there in South Africa. She's meeting Ramaphosa. Guess what, Hamud? It also includes one of the hint, aquatic border areas.
Oh,
You remember?
12 pages of all protocol observed.
Yeah, the very vague and highly not secretive but elusive discussion that took place 2 years back in Walvis Bay, which we couldn't understand. Okay, so what did you actually discuss about the Orange River? But that's also another thing we can park that bus somewhere else.
Yeah.
So, looking at Namibia having to then ramp up its ability to host something bigger, this then starts telling on what we can invest in locally. I mean, that's why I will continue hammering on local authorities. I will continue hammering on them.
Mhm.
Because local authorities have to start playing their role in alleviating the continuous performance mechanism that Windhoek has to do. But Windhoek supports through funding. They support so many other local authorities. Now, if a local business community person in that community, Uncle Bona asked the question yesterday, what are Namibians doing? Well, here's the thing. One answer, looking at it in hindsight in today's conversation, is let's, for example, say someone decides to open up an actual hotel in Otjiwarongo. Or someone decides to open up an actual hotel or a holiday inn. Sorry for using a company's name, but a inn is an actual kind of a mini hotel. You get a hotel, you get an inn, and then you get a bed and breakfast or a pension and a guest house. A guest house is the smallest one that you can get, because backpackers and pensions and guest houses are literally on the same level, and then and then bed and breakfasts are like the lowest. But we don't have backpackers, Helmut. Backpackers help with the what we call in like basic business terminology, rats and mice business. Do you know what rats and mice are? Rats and mice, Helmut, is if you look at a shop like a retail shop.
Yeah.
A rats and mice is the person that comes and buys the milk and the bread every day. Every day, that's all they buy for like 5 days in the week. A loaf of bread, a liter of milk. A loaf of bread, a liter of milk.
I've seen the prices of the hardware. Camping and backpacking. Let me just say, camping hardwares.
Yeah.
Holy cow, the prices are holy cow.
But you know what? How many times the farmers go and buy at those retail outlets, those camping, those outdoor retail shops?
Yeah.
And I'm not talking about the clothing.
Yeah.
I'm talking about things like camping chairs. You don't know how people steal camping chairs from each other.
Oh, and camping chairs and tents is one of those things that's being bought by a lot of people I know.
exactly.
Yeah, especially especially for the December holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's camping chairs and tents.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's big business. If you're in the outdoors retail space,
Yeah.
it's big business. Cooler boxes is another commodity.
Yeah. It's another-
Cooler boxes is like a gold mine. You don't know how people steal cool boxes from each other, Helmut.
Oh, yeah. Speaking of which, I was given
Yeah.
a
Cooler box.
cooler box. It's basically a backpack. Slash cooler box.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's more for picnics. So if you and
it
one
was
of your
stolen.
other... It was stolen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
You have
but
a good idea who, ne?
I know very well. I
Okay.
just don't,
You don't want to mention names.
I don't want to mention any names.
Just we know who you are. Even though I don't know who you are.
Yeah, look, look. I just halfway through, I just realized it's just what, it's not worth the trouble. Plus, okay, I just didn't want unnecessary
Headaches.
noise. Yeah. I just decided, you know what? Well, it's okay. But the thing is
So you
that
gave it away.
uh,
Okay, with that face, Helmut, it's a no.
it's a no.
Okay.
Like I said, it was like my high school English teacher will put it. It was bought without money, and
You should have said it was repossessed.
it was bought without money.
It found new ownership.
It's a very it's a very beautiful, and it's waterproof inside. So because it's
Yeah.
made for liquids.
Yeah,
You know.
for putting ice in.
Yeah, that's when that's basically the first thing that came in my head when you said cooler box, get stolen. I was like, oh, been there, done that.
No, it's big business. I mean, now, that's not rats and mice business that I'm talking about. Rats and mice is when you look at like in the tourism sector now. This would be someone coming and buying one beer, a Coke. They need to sleep over for one night. They just need to have some sort of self-serve with a bed that they
Yeah.
can sleep on for like 5 days, pay a minimum fee. We really need to invest more, Helmut, in that bracket of tourism. Namibia is known as a tourism destination for families. So we're talking about 4 or 5 people, 6, 9, 10 people coming at one stage for the same trip.
Again, when was that? January. Yeah, was that? Beginning of February 2019. I saw a convoy of tourists. They seem to be Chinese. This was a convoy for about 25 to 27 cars.
Yeah, Helmut. It's doable. And then we've got the
yeah.
South Africans.
Yeah, I think it's one of those group travel, and it's also done by. There are a lot of people that I know that also do that. Like in the beginning, from the beginning of the year, they would just come together and start putting money together, so that in December they can go to say Victoria Falls or Etosha, wherever it is, they choose. But it becomes a group thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I think it's a very good initiative when you think of it, because I think it's us thinking outside the box, that I can't afford to do this alone, but I want to do it. And then, I want to do this. So if you want to do it, then we can just open an account and and put money together. And the next thing there are 5 of you that have come to that agreement of okay, now where do we want to go in December? What type of activities we're going to do? Let's calculate everything from travels. Take for example, if we're gonna rent a car, or if we're gonna take one that is or 2 that are owned by already members of the group. And how do we contribute to the servicing, the fueling, all these things, and then you calculate all that, and then just split to see how much you're gonna need at the end of the year. By the time that the date that you're planning this vacation is gonna come, and then you just decide, okay, now for this amount, how much do we need to contribute per year, per month each? Done.
And you're done. Yeah. It's a wonderful idea as well, Helmut. But South Africa, for Namibians, is also like how do I put this? it's like a that destination.
Mhm.
It's on the level like a Europe.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why I showed you the most cost-effective way was rather pay for the, to travel by road
Yeah.
or by coach or by train if it comes about when it tries to come about. The
Good
dimension from that
coach.
is South Africa has they've got a tricky tourism sector for us Africans. Specifically, if they know you're a Namibian,
Mhm.
shorter, you are most welcome. Absolutely, most welcome. But if you're another African in South Africa as a tourist, it gets tricky.
Becomes a match.
Not really, not really. So I mean, if you now try to be like an everyday tourist, let's say they're in Cape Town, walking there on the pavement, it'll be the same experiences like for tourists when they are here in Namibia, here in Windhoek, here in the middle of town, here in the middle of Windhoek as well. The interactions and stuff like that. But then you know that you are African, but you are treated on the same level specifically like a European. I when I was there 2011, I met an Irish couple who've been living in Cape Town, and they've been doing the gig economy already in 2011 by living in
Shit.
Cape Town.
Yeah.
And this guy was so bragging about how many times he's traveled wherever, he and his girlfriend, wherever in the world. And the way I met them was through this guy who said he's Scottish, but he speaks French. And I still sit there looking at him like, bruh, please. Let us not start with the stories. Please, how can you be Scottish and you speak French?
I mean, well,
It's plausible,
that's what I was about to say. Well, it's not impossible.
but his English is more rah rah rah.
Oh no, nah.
So I asked him straightforward, listen, just tell me if you're French or not. Just say you are French. I don't know whether Scottish. He said, no, but my mom and my brothers live in Scotland. And I said, are you sure? Because you don't sound Scottish. You really don't. But anyway, that's another discussion. So at the heart of that scene in 2011
Yeah.
were backpackings, were backpacker installations in Long Street. If you go today, Helmut, to Cape Town, Long Street literally means Langstraat. I don't know, the South Africans, back then when they were naming streets there, you get Plainstraat, Longstraat. What's the other street's name that runs parallel? It runs to Lion's Head, directly to the mountain, from the bay to the
Hang on.
mountain, or from the train station to the mountain. Now, Long Street is just because it's a long street. It's
Literally.
definitely not, it's not longer than Independence. Independence still beats it. Independence is pretty long.
Yeah.
We'll be honest, Independence is pretty long.
It is long.
Yeah, but it was named that way because obviously town planning back then. Now, the thing with that street of Long Street is, as you approach the mountain, because you'll see the mountain in front of you, as you walk to the mountain, from the start of Long Street where it bridges onto, what's that street's name? The one that runs right past the train station. Kaiser. Anyway, because it's in Dutch. That's the word. It's not even in German. It's in Dutch. That's the worst part. That and the street name. So, if you walk from that street corner upwards towards the mountain, you start seeing more and more backpackers. Now, the backpackers were concentrated, Helmut, because they made that street the party scene.
Mm.
Now, that's also not what Namibia has. That's also what Namibia does not have. Now, the appeal that I'm sharing here is that just like with the cultural and the creative sectors, this is one of the low-hanging fruits. Now, yes, Namibia Tourism Board is most now obviously trying to, swing its proverbial sort of like mace of authority or sword of authority. But the discussion that we need is we don't need more Airbnbs. We don't. We need more backpackers. Backpackers attract young tourists. They create jobs for young Namibians. And this will be like a youth-to-youth cultural interaction exchange program.
Mm.
It'll encourage more tourism throughout the rest of the country. So, who destinations that would need backpackers? Places like Keetmans on the way to Ludritz, Henties Bay, Walvis Bay, Swakop, Windhoek. Maybe Otjiwarongo. If you go to the north, but that's where the north has to really also define itself through investment into its own infrastructure. If you go to Rundu definitely needs more backpackers.
You know, now that you brought up the tourism in the northern part of the country, it's one of those things that is sort of like you know, I don't say. Let me just use the word recommend as a good business startup idea for someone that wants to start to start a business in Namibia. One of the hanging fruit as in a good place to start, or a good business venture to dive into as a beginner, a business individual in Namibia would be the tourism industry, and that is a recommendation that Robin Sheban provides in his the guide to the Namibian economy. So one thing the guide to Namibian economy looks at is that if you look at most of the tourist installations, they are privately / family owned.
Definitely yes.
And that means now compared to the extractive industry, I believe, which is very you don't have to be a mathematician to know that. Compared to businesses like the extractive industry, it's much easier to begin as to start a business as someone that to participate in the tourism industry than in the extractive industry, because the extractive industry is not only heavily regulated and strictly regulated, but it's also ridiculously expensive to participate in. And we have the same book basically explains, gives you a rough estimate of how much one seismic survey costs you in the extractive industry, and like you know what, with that amount of money I can build a whole lodge. Now one thing that you see in that is also somewhat very interesting, just right next to, interesting enough, conservancies in the northern part of the country is what's this what's this traditional living museums. You have living museums. For a lot of people that are interested into seeing the cultural aspect of Namibian tribes, they don't want to sit in Windhoek.
Exactly. And that's the thing that I've also been against. This centralization in Windhoek every time. Look, you can have a body based in Otjiwarongo. You can have a body based in Tsumeb. You can have an organization based or whatever based in Gobabis. But people love this idea of Windhoek bright lights, the big city, the way to go. Yes, it's all I'm hearing is just expensive. That's all I'm hearing. So people also have to think outside of, where do you host things? Go do a little bit of research. Okay, the research technically is already done for you by the NSA. I'm not tooting their horn, but the research is done for you already. You just have to go look at where the trends are moving. Because it really doesn't make sense for you to now go to Swakop, Helmut, to try and open up a backpackers in Swakop. And the Swakop community doesn't want you to sell beer after 10 o'clock at night. It really doesn't make sense. And I'm also trying to understand that kind of community negative economic feature. One of the biggest issues for Swakop was that young people, and this is from 2003 heading up to 2015. It's one of the reasons why I don't like Swakop. Swakop's actual facade, Helmut, is a retirement village. No, really. Swakop's actual image, for any Namibian, if they think about it, is a retirement village, or you must be a family person with young children, or with or you are moving with your wife or your husband there to Swakop or to Walvis because you found a job there, and the conditions are just right for you to start your family there. Swakop is not cosmopolitan. Swakop is not cutting edge urban lifestyle. Swakop is not even
It has an ocean.
Helmut Swakop is not even at the forefront of cultural identity. Even that's the worst part of that place. And if you're from Swakop, guys, I don't care. I'm on record here. I don't like your town.
I know he already said that he doesn't care and he's on record, but I just would like to point it up again. That was Dwight.
Yeah, I
Now
don't
you can
like
go.
your town because your town is not youth friendly. Swakop is not youth friendly, Helmut. I'll tell you today. Swakop is not youth friendly. Valfes is not youth friendly.
In terms of the environment itself, or the prices that or how much it costs to live in there.
No. If you're looking at tourism now,
Yeah.
what does tourism actually encapsulate? Tourism encapsulates fun. Fun in the sun, fun in the sand, fun in the sea, fun on the beach.
Swakop has all of those.
Yeah, but those are things that are naturally there.
Mhm.
But now you need to round out those activities for the visitors. You need to have bars that are open, a nightclub, a this, a that, a this. And when you get to Swakop,
Mhm.
you've got a quiet bar that closes at 10 o'clock at night here around the corner. You have to walk on the other side of the street of the town to go find a shebeen that decides to be open. And then you have to go to which other part of the town. Everything is away from the center of town. The center of town is supposed to be your economic activity, not the outskirts of town. Not you are pushing people away just to go find a beer, to see what nightlife looks like. And the moment the sun goes down, we do a post office worker situation in Namibia. Poof, everyone is at home.
Yeah, I don't leave the house very much. The whole time that I was in Arandis, Swakop, Valves, but all the time during the day.
Exactly.
So I don't know, I don't know a thing about nightlife there. But one thing is, we had two shows when we were doing Sounds of Nam. I didn't attend any of those, but they did have, they did seem to have a lot of good time.
Yeah.
Because I basically had to edit. I was editing all the videos and compiling everything into all the videos and pictures into a video and pictorial report for for sponsors. Yeah, they did. They did take a lot of fun looking nightlife, and the DJ. Jesus, the DJ. But the thing is, the DJ was there very busy.
I mean, why did you show that? Why did you do that gesture with your hands?
Oh, thank God. Anyway,
You're not on the stream when you made that, no? That gesture.
no.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay, that's
it's on
good.
you.
Okay, that's
Thank
good.
you.
So it's me the whole time.
Yeah. God is good all the time.
Yeah.
So look, the thing is, before I went to Omaheke to Omaheke, I was in Ochetonjupa, and this is Ochetonjupa we're talking about deep in Tsumkwe. So this is
Now that's now eastwards, closer to Gam.
closer to Gam.
Yeah.
Now this is a place that only has one service station.
Yes.
That's one. And the thing is, sometimes you have this whole convoy of this whole
Travelers,
convoy of travelers that are fueling up coming from Grootfontein. They will just fuel up and head due north through security, because that road goes from Tsumkwe, it goes through security into strip I think up to Ndiona. That's where you get in the road into into the B1 road that goes to Zambezi, Divundu Zambezi. Now, the thing is, it's and there's also a living museum. And one thing that that island is that at least from the type of tourists that I was exposed to back in Tsumkwe, both in Tsumkwe and at Arnas, is that a lot of the people that I met that are tourists, a lot of them are from Belgium, France, Germany, and all. Now these guys were more interested, at least to see an aspect of the culture
Yeah.
of the people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and which I think, which I found fascinating. Now it was more, a cultural thing in for most of the people that I met in Sumkwe, and it was more for like wildlife sightseeing type of thing for the people that I met at Anas. And so that's when I realized that, okay, now and if you look at now, is that Malaysia where you get where's Bali?
Bali is Malaysia, I think.
Yeah.
Bali is Malaysia. Yeah.
Yeah, now they
It's
have
either Malaysia or Indonesia, one
yeah.
of the two.
Now they have something they call, what's this? Trevor Noah made a whole set on it. This Balinese experience. Yeah, it's just about giving you this immersive type of experience into the culture and tradition and way of life of the people in that of the people in that environment. I think that's what all. I think that's what
Indonesia.
it's Indonesia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's what living museums tries to that's the type of experience that living museums tries to give, or more like gives tourists. That you know what, you are in Namibia, but if you go to a living museum in Tsumka, for example,
Yeah.
you'll be exposed to a lot of historical and traditional aspects of not just the Khoisan people,
Yeah.
but Namibia as a whole.
Hamud, if you try to fly from Namibia to Bali right now, or 31 July to 4 August, it'll cost, you will fly for 1 day and 4 hours because of the stopovers.
How many stopovers are you looking at?
That depends on which one. Lowest price you can guess to be priced for a return ticket, round trip, 31,000. Highest potentially might be 57,000. Yeah, for a Namibian, don't go to Bali. For a Namibian, you can go to Europe.
Point of correction. For a Namibian who can afford an iPhone with 2 SIM cards, as long as you are not arrested yet, you can go to Bali. Look, we live, it's inclusivity in Namibia.
You can fly to Frankfurt, Helmut, for 10 hours and 10 minutes from Windhoek. Guess at what price?
10,000?
Okay, just add 3 more thousand.
13,000?
Yeah, round trip. Go there and
Round
back.
trip?
Yeah.
Jeez.
And that's
Now, Ghana?
okay.
Oh boy, internal flights.
Dude, let's look at Ghana.
Oh man.
What's Ghana's capital? Accra.
Accra, yeah.
Accra, Ghana.
It's already sounding sad.
Let's see if there are flights, because it first has to restart. Wow. But it's a 16-hour flight. 30 July to, what's this date? What's my date? 30 July. Yeah, from 30 July to 5 August. The cheapest flight is 15,000. But I'm flying for 16 hours. But to Frankfurt, it's 10 hours.
For
Accra is closer. More expensive. Germany is further. Cheaper.
so the more expensive
And
is
I fly
because of
quicker.
the stopovers.
But it doesn't say here's a stopover. Yeah, there is one stopover. Addis Ababa.
Oh,
So
of
I'm
course.
first flying east to fly west. But that's most the concern here about where this air connectivity element is also going.
Yeah.
The air connectivity is working in the favor, for example, of certain countries like South Africa and Ethiopia. South Africa, for certain flights, you will fly all the way to Johannesburg. You will fly past Namibia, Helmut.
Okay.
To
Okay.
land in Johannesburg, and I must stop over as a Namibian in Joburg for Windhoek. That's what happened with us Namibians in 2024 coming back from Russia. We had to stop over in Joburg. And our stop over there was more than 10 hours in Joburg.
Eesh.
Because our flight the next morning was like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. with South African Airways coming back this way. So you are flying past my country all the way to Johannesburg. Just to tell me
You're
to go
literally
chill there.
flying past my country.
just to go chill there.
Why didn't you just tell him, pilot, just here my parachute. Here is
Because
going
it's
to.
Emirates. You think they will listen to you as a Namibian? They'll even go like, you are from where?
You know, just say, Salam alaikum, my brother. Just give me a parachute, I'll jump.
You are
with
from where? Zimbabwe. From where? Nambia. But yeah, so that's the reality. And this is just commercial activity.
Mhm.
The next one, which is also a stopover in Addis Ababa, but it adds another stop to this, but it pushes your price from 15,000 to 26,000. That's to Accra. This is to Accra, to Ghana. Do you see the I know I almost said intentional, but it is intentional. The intentional business case that is literally the hurdle that doesn't make AFCFTA gel.
Yeah, but is it intentional though? If you are, if you are operating in if you are operating a flight, a commercial flight company, and you don't have a lot of people flying in between different African countries.
But that's why I'm saying, Ahmed, remember the other time at the start of this year when I said we don't have to look at jet engines as transport. They are propeller engine.
You just complained about the one in Russia. You want us to adopt one?
Yeah. It's those airplanes exist, but for some reason,
Yeah.
when you look at like continental flights, the continental reality can happen.
Yeah.
But for some reason, people are thinking about when I start an airline, it has to be fully just jumbo jets.
Yeah.
I must fill up 200 seats, 300 seats. I must have it's go big and go home. It's go big or go home
type of
mentality,
thing, yeah.
which is the wrong business mentality to have, because business mentality is based upon: do you have the data? Do you understand do you have the current data about what you're trying to do? And are you going to be able to gradually achieve your goals to become a fixture in this economy? Because here's the thing, Amun. Business is not about like the mentality that entrepreneurs almost like.
Mhm.
I'm here to eat.
Yeah.
The actual economy is not about I'm here to eat. The actual economy is about I want to do this long term. I don't want to be in. I don't want anyone else to be my boss. I want to be my own boss. We are doing this for the long run. The most successful companies. Remember that thing I told you last year. When you look at the biggest companies in the world,
Yeah.
are all family companies.
Yeah.
Are all family businesses.
Yep.
Even in Namibia, Namibia's most resilient, strongest, biggest, and healthiest businesses in this economy are all family owned.
Yeah.
So, in the reality of things, in looking at the reality on the ground, wherever it is, we have to identify, for example, are Namibians out there serious with business or not? Now, this gets us away from the conversation of like yesterday, where looking at the agriculture side of things.
Mhm.
Now, Almut, it's with agriculture, there's always a market. People will always eat. People are hungry. They are organic organisms. They need food. But here's the thing. At the heart of the agricultural discussion is a discussion of: are you in it for the long run, or are you going to treat this like a classroom pet project situation? Because with tourism, it's the same question, the same mentality that you've got to approach. Are you going to do this for the long run? Are you going to be here forever? There's a hotel in Tsumeb that exists since Namibia's colonial era.
Mm.
That's how old that hotel is. That hotel is family owned. That shows you how old that family and how old that family has been since their first ancestor came here on a boat, Goeterse, when Tsumeb was like the mining hub in the colonial period of Namibia. That hotel still stands, Howard. But that hotel with the new main attraction outside Tsumeb, I think you know which one I'm talking about. The one with the water park, that lovely one. As you come into the Tsumeb from you're northbound, but you're coming from Ochivarongo, coming in. You've been to Tsumeb, ne?
No.
Okay. So when you enter Tsumeb from a southern direction,
Yeah.
from Otjiwarongo, when you enter Tsumeb, there's a major tourism feature here on your right. It's think of it like it's a slash I don't know what it is because it's not a hotel, but it's got accommodation, it's got a water park feature, it's got entertainment features, it's got like restaurant features. I just don't want to mention its name, not to give it but it's right here as you enter the town. And then that 100-year-old hotel I'm talking about is standing in the middle of the town. Now, that time when I was there in Tsumeb in 2016, I walked through the town to just check to see the lay of the land, see what's where the beat is at, and they had just opened up that mall, as you follow the main road into Tsumeb, they just opened that mall, which is on the main road that enters, and the town it's a damn beautiful town. There's no town that comes close to Tsumeb. Yes, I'm tooting Tsumeb's horn here, but Tsumeb has a lot more work that they know themselves they have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if Tsumeb was strategic in its tourism investment program, they would have invited potentially more investors to say, hey, listen, please come and open up more tourism elements. And then they've got to do the necessary to try and associate more tourism activity close to them. But it's a balance, because there are certain things that you can control as a council, as a town council, or as a municipal council, because it's a municipality. And there are certain things that your investor controls. Now, if your investor doesn't like the direction of your municipal council, then you are caught in between the hard rock and the other hard rock places and the solid places in some scenarios, because then there's an impasse. What do we do? Here in Windhoek, the municipal council here is, they're potentially, do what you must with tourism, just comply with the regulations. Now, I don't know how heavy regulations are in other parts of the country, but I know it's heavy in Windhoek. It is heavy in Windhoek. It's social security compliance, it's Ministry of Finance compliance, it's what's the other one? Municipal City of Windhoek compliance. It's health and safety, which is City of Windhoek once again. It's what's the food inspectors? City of Windhoek once again. Then there is, if you're dealing with certain things, there's another ministry that's involved, Ministry of Health, for example. So there's so many compliance things that you've got to meet in Windhoek alone. But if you find yourself 60 k's in Okahanja, 90 k's in Rebos, I'm not saying go there to bend the rules, guys. But I will just say compliance is not at the forefront of the investment discussion.
Definitely not.
Definitely not.
Look, the reason why I think the first thing that comes in my head every time we talk about tourism, the first thing that comes in my head is for me it's always it will always will be what will Namibia offer that is unique to other destinations. Yeah, because you can look at it. You can look at it even from a trade perspective. The president the president's trip to China is one of those the trips that will get me asking, okay, we have a diplomatic and economic relationship with China. China is is an industrial is an industrial monster.
Yeah.
Now what are we going to produce that we are going to trade with the Chinese that is not part of the extractive sector?
Tourism is at the forefront of them.
There you go.
But it's, if you can attract, and if you do have
The
marketing,
attracting part.
yeah, because you've got to market Namibia in China.
You see, that part is an interesting part. Now, when you look at that's what brings me to the question of what is it that Namibia have that is unique to other tourist destinations, because both the reports that we went through in May and this one that is more of a not as elaborate as the one that we went through in May, is more like a summarized version basically. But here's the thing. I have now one homeboy who with she's a German Namibian, but she spent a lot of time in Germany.
I thought you said homeboy. Why am I hearing she?
No, that's the girlfriend. Yeah. Now, you know what happened?
Yeah.
She came to Namibia. Homeboy just took his. She wanted to go to the village and have this whole type of village experience. Yeah. She came back telling all stories that made everyone look at her and go like, okay.
You do know that's.
This is one of the stories she was telling. You know what? Well, it was very beautiful. We had dinner under the stars, and in my head, I'm like, so she's talking about the village. So, yeah, dinner under the stars. That's my entire childhood.
But do you know that in some places in Europe, the people don't see starlight?
Exactly.
They
because
don't have a night sky.
Urbanization comes with a lot of light pollution.
Exactly.
And because of that, they don't get to enjoy the view of the night sky in the same way that we do.
Yes.
And that is now. The funny story is, I think that was New York or California, one of these two, in 1994. They had an earthquake that was so severe it knocked off the power grid. And for the first time in a very long time, they had this large-scale blackout that enabled. I think that was around 3 o'clock in the morning. So people looked in the sky for the first time. A lot of people. That's when they saw this unpolluted with light night sky, with all the light in the sky at night.
Yeah.
Adults called the police.
Because they thought it was space.
An alien invasion.
Were known it. But
look, so for me, I think in the very same way that I may have this whole I may have the feeling of I have to visit this urban area. I want to see Dubai, I want to see Doha, I want to see Tokyo. All these are major. All these are giant metropolises. Now, but most people that have been born and raised in this area, they want to see my village. So when someone, take for example, leaves places like Tokyo, for example, and they come to Windhoek, and they want to have a dark night sky for more natural experience, nightlife, not a groove type of nightlife, because last time I checked, every urban area across the planet has one of those.
Now, we need more of that, Elmo.
We need more of that, but I think this is where your urban, not your urban. I think this is where your living museum now comes in. Yeah, because if you want to get a taste of traditional food or traditional music or basically everything traditional, this will be your go-to places. There's one guy. I'm not sure where he was from, but he did produce a whole song with the Khoisan people. I think that was at Grashoek, on your way to Sumkwe. Yeah, it's a very it's a very beautiful song. Yeah. The whole song is the whole video of the song features a lot of like animal trekking at night and traditional dance in the evening. So all this is not just showcasing the culture. It's I think it's normal for human beings that something that you are not exposed to, you find interesting and exotic. So we may look at our culture and consider it boring, but for someone who is not exposed to it, they find it fascinating in the very same way that you and I will find ourselves fascinated by their culture. So basically, for the most part, if you ask me, tourism is based around something that is exotic. As long as it's not food, because I looked at this type of I think that was some parts of Asia where they make soup out of bird nests, and that bird makes its nest with its saliva. Must be delicious. Uh, yeah, and they said
I think there's someone right now not contemplating dinner tonight because of that, Helmut.
minus me. I mean, I've been look. I've gone through breakups, and my appetite was still up and running. I was like, you know what, heartbreak. Off we go to the kitchen, buddy. We don't have time for this.
If you're hungry, you're hungry.
If you're hungry, you're hungry. Buddy. Well, she left, but you gotta eat.
Yeah.
So and there's a type of there's also a type of a dish in parts of the Philippines, I believe, where they take duck eggs and then boil them when they are about to hatch. Call it culture shock, but well, if you were born in that part of the world, you'd look at that and go delicious.
Yeah.
But because I wasn't exposed to that culture, I watched that video and started going, yeah.
Why?
Yeah. You know what? I'll just keep boiling them when they are nowhere near hatching. Turns out it's delicious. I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll just, delicious it at a distance. Yeah. So if you look at it, then tourism goes beyond, goes beyond just sightseeing. It's about experience, and I think for much of the tourist institutions, or more like facilities, are used by have conference halls, especially hospitality institutions. They have conference halls. That means you're talking fun and work into one environment.
Okay, the
work trip. Huh.
Okay, the discussion, Helmut, also about what we envisage to see
In Namibia.
Yeah, in Namibia is obviously something between a desired outcome versus a current situation template. A desired outcome obviously speaks also to, in the hope that we see this in the short term. What I'm now going to describe is not going to be in a calendar year, 3 months, 6 months. Short term would be in the next 3 years. We see a slight increase, a slight gradual adoption of or consumption of a service or of a particular thing. What we also need to identify as should I say we as consumers or we as Namibians? Okay, let me rather keep it as us as consumers, because everyone can consume tourism. Is how often can you maintain this activity? Because tourism also has a weird thing where something is in trend, or is a hot trend, and then it falls out of being a hot trend. For example, let's look at Bali. Helmut, Bali or Southeast Asia. If I now have to use discriminatory language right now, Bali, Southeast Asia is for a cheap tourist. This is a tourist that doesn't need a backpack. They just need a passport, a mobile phone, money on a bank card, maybe some money in the wallet, and have the ticket, and then they fly. Because you will come back with clothes. All you need to do is just take your toothbrush with that side.
Because they are major textile manufacturers.
Everything is cheap.
Yeah.
I had a sales manager that did that with me once when I actually started working. Homeboy told me, Dwight, you must go to... Now, he'd been to Thailand, he'd been to... What did he go to Bali? But he loved Thailand a lot. Shan't expand into why, but he loved Thailand a lot. But there's obviously also the Philippines, Indonesia, Malaysia, in close proximity. And then he says, Dwight.
I'll keep my comments
Now,
myself.
remember, this is 2009. He says, Dwight, dude, you can buy 100% leather, genuine leather products. Left, right, and center. You can buy them for like $50. You can buy like 6 of the things.
Is it $6 Namibian or US?
Namibian.
Jeez.
Like $6. For a pair of sandals for you to walk around there. You don't need anything expensive. Shirts, shorties. He says all he does is he flies with an empty bag that way,
And
with
then
just
comes
his
back with a full
toothbrush, with just his toothbrush, and he flies with a backpack with a like this regular backpacks,
Yeah.
the small one, that you just keep a few stuff in.
Yeah.
He flies with that, and then he flies back with a suitcase,
Holy cow.
and then he's there for 5-10 days, ne?
Yeah.
Then he's there, and then I sat there looking. I said, he's this boss of mine's name was Greg. And I said, Greg, how was it? He says, Dwight, it was outstanding. Now, what he would do, he would buy these tourism packages. He would pay his money there just to get there. And then the tourism package tells you we are going on these designated routes.
Yeah.
Then what he does is when he lands, he sees day one. Okay, so this is how you're gonna treat us, and then he bounces here. So
Takes his own detour.
He takes his own tour. He hires a cabbie, and then he just goes and explores, wherever they are landing.
Yeah.
So he did it twice because he left that company the next year in 2010. He left in 2010, but he did it twice, and it's also from him and with my elder brother as well that I saw that don't be fixated on the large tourism destinations. Helmut, you can just also take a backpack, and then you can go here to Tanzania. And you can go to Kenya. Yes, you will have to imagine that your behind still has a feeling because of the bus ride, because there's a possibility that you might forget any feeling, what it last felt like.
Go numb.
Because of the bus rides. I mean, roads probably have improved somewhere between Zambia or Zimbabwe and Tanzania and Kenya, but the possibility is there. Look, if you want an adventure, sometimes it's nice to have the adventure, but
By that you mean it's nice to take risks.
no, it's not a risk. It's probably just driving with a guy who imagines his Bob Jones spanner is a steering wheel situation. Those are not risks. Those are just calculated, adventures. But
Make sure your suitcase is waterproof. Been there. Look, man. I don't mean to throw shades, but I found myself in 2017.
Yeah.
Okay, right there. Hold on. Just let me finish my story. As I was saying, I was...
My man, you've been finishing your story for 10 minutes now. Even my chassis is getting warm.
Just give more eyes. Anyways, long story short.
Oh, aye. When you're talking, it's a short story long.
Short stories turn long. Go best together with Tassenberg. Not for persons under the age of 18. Enjoy responsibly.
lipuranengeno wapumbwa eva tere ulikoni maondudu toingida ashike kapeno nweku dite opoye ekukulile oshafafana nongeshe faili meholamo ihoetike kovano ile koshiwana onongeshe fa yapumbwa kukaraya kovano okupitiramo Eagle FM otuna emitoda njuka okukwetera oipindi konu kondadoi nawa nuneudo otukwetera o special ngetashake ngeshefa omarudi dayoloka opone ushendife nawa nokumona oijamwili nawa ningekwata fanona monika ko Eagle FM onora 3 mbali heali nola natu heali mbali no heali ile komberewa nora 3 natu mbali o 3 omafelane Eagle FM the eye.
The views and opinions expressed by our guests and callers are not those of Eagle FM and any of its staff.
Welcome back. We continue. So, my also slight apologies to my my Zambian, my Zambian brothers. I found myself in 2017 in a road from Zisheke to Monze. Yeah.
What
No, look, from Livingstone all the way. I believe from Livingstone all the way to Monze. No, that was a perfect ride. But from Monze to somewhere near Livingstone, Jesus, that road was. I don't know, but I think it was only. Who am I kidding? I don't think it was ever renovated. and there are potholes, and then there are Fish River and Grand Canyons. Now that road had the latter, not the former. Now, and you are on a bus, so that you are just looking at the driver and go. Yeah. So. The only smooth ride I remember is from Livingstone all the way to Monza. Now that was just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, but met some nice people, very nice drinking people, and the food is wonderful. I mean, I had a wonderful time. So when you look at take for example from an African perspective, in terms of not just the consumption of the product associated with the tourism industry, but products and services associated with the tourism industry, but in terms of participating, every time I think of it from a participating standpoint, I remember was that you that told me the story of this part of the Brandberg mountain, where one part that seems to be part of falls into a private farm has some booming tourism aspect to it.
No, it's the example. Remember of the rock paint, the rock art.
Thank you. Yeah, the rock art.
It's the Eronga Mountains. So,
Yeah.
Let's say 3/4 of the Eronga Mountains are literally spread over private farmland. But these private farms now have lodges.
Yeah.
So they've got a majority of the rock art caves, the caves that host the rock art.
Yeah.
And the people that they hire, like tour guides and stuff, come from other parts of the country.
Yeah.
So that's obviously the participation. Now, there's a minority presence of the rock art also close to Uis in the constituency, which is in the Irongo region side, like on communal land,
Yeah.
just on the other side of the mountains.
Yeah.
And that's most the guy that's struggling, the tour guide that side from the local community,
Yeah.
who's struggling basically to promote his tourism activity, get more visitors to come and also see the rock art position there
On his side. Yeah.
in a communal area, and it's problematic because it's the same thing that I keep saying about if you've experienced Windhoek, would you want to go live anywhere else in this country? And then many people will say, no, I don't see three malls in any other place of this country. Exactly. I don't get to experience the true nightlife. Exactly. I don't get to enjoy certain particular things here in in other parts of the country. Exactly. That's the unfortunate thing that Windhoek has.
So we moved to urban areas, and we are accustomed to the comfort and the conveniences of urban areas. We can't imagine living anywhere else.
Yeah. And here's the other thing in that analysis, Ahmed, is that you sometimes also see who the tourism sector is geared towards.
Yeah.
It's not meant for us Namibians. We have to be honest.
Yeah, I have seen the prices.
It's not just about the prices. The customer to be attracted. Helmut, ever since I've got now my scooter and situation, since the start of this year, and since City of Windhoek made their municipal museum prominent, because they launched it, I think, start of this year or end of last year, I really want to just go, take like 2 hours as an experiment and go and see what I as a Namibian will learn from this museum. Museums are there, Helmut,
Yeah.
technically for the population of that settlement, of that country, of that nation, because it helps to solidify an identity of the country.
Yeah.
But museums in Namibia are geared towards tourists. They geared towards tourists. Now, if you as a Windhoeker want to go and see a museum here in Namibia, you can't. The only time you have from your busy schedule from working is Saturdays and Sundays. And then those...
Aren't they closed?
Yes. Those officials then go and have weekends because they 8 to 5 and they post office work, the living lights out of a situation.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have time during the week. You see Windhoek every day. You would like to have a different perspective. It's these kinds of things that ultimately it doesn't get the buy-in from the local population. It doesn't get the buy-in of us Namibians on a daily basis. Now, from a young age, I've also gone to museums, but in some cases, you can see where curatorship, tourism, the how to populate how to populate a museum is another discussion. Helmut,
Just don't do it the British way.
definitely, but it is exactly the British, American, European template that has got me fixated on history. Why? Where did my actual start of my actually love for
Of
history
history.
begin? Not just with the encyclopedias that my parents had accumulated for us
Mm-hmm.
to learn, to build up our not just general knowledge but our reading skills as well, but also that one activity when my sister took us to the Rehoboth Museum when we still stayed in Rehoboth back in the 90s, and we went there. And since I'm someone that observes people's body language, you walk into that museum, Hamid, and it's literally the size of the studio of ours. There's a wagon, you saw, there's a this, that, there's a photo there, there's a that, and then poof, presentation is clear. You go like, this is the history?
Yeah.
This is all you have?
Yep.
Now, scenarios, for example, like that City of Windhoek Museum here on the Robert Mugabe, right across Windhoek High School. It's a house, Hamid. It's as big as our front office building. It's a house. You really want to tell me that almost 200 years of history of Windhoek can fit in the size of a house?
Yeah, that's because much of the history is loaded with stealing and pillaging.
History is history, Hamid. It happened already.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why you
And and I like how you find that right next to the Independence Museum.
well, that one too.
Yeah.
And it's a discussion of like, that 300 meters that includes Windhoek High School is a historic like 300 meter scenario. It's from that old church at the top, actually extended to the Parliament building.
Yeah.
The Parliament building was the old colonial house, the governor's house, the Tintin Palast, the Pink Palace.
Yes.
It's the governor. It's where Lloyd Vine and what's the guy von Trotta them stayed. It's there. It's the administrative building. So from there, let's say from the old State House, which is also technically a historic building, from there
Yeah.
to that City of Windhoek municipal, that City of Windhoek museum, just with Robert Mugabe.
Yeah.
You just walk. If you walk from this four-way where City of Windhoek and Bank of Namibia, not City of Windhoek, where Bank of Namibia and Windhoek High School are, across the street you find that City of Windhoek museum, and you walk to the church, to the Parliament Gardens direction. That is a historic 200 meters of Namibia. On that,
Just that part.
it's a super historic installation there, because the fort, which was the old museum, National Museum, is the oldest colonial building, should I rather say. I'll put it like that, because
Yeah.
there are historical facts of what is the actual first building, like built structure by a human. And then you can assume, okay, now we really need to interrogate the word or the phrase oldest building. So I'd put the fort as the oldest colonial building,
Yeah.
built by colonial settlers, that still stands. Because it seems it's on par. No, in Windhoek, yeah, it's Windhoek's oldest building. Sorry, it's Windhoek's oldest building, but I just don't know what happened to Jan Jonker's farmhouse. This Windhoek was Jan Jonker's farm. Jan Jonker Afrikaner.
Mhm.
It was his farm. That's why Windhoek is known as Windhoek.
What?
Helmut, did you forget your high school? Did you get your primary school history?
Yeah, I did.
This Windhoek is Jan Jonker's farm.
I know about Yanyonk, the farm part.
Hence the reason why I'm asking you about that traditional authority here northwards. Remember when our colleagues went and were bushwhacking? Remember? Back in 2024? Was it 2024? Yeah, it was 2024.
Yeah, when them and the Ministry of Agriculture got
Culture.
lost.
When they were asking each other for direction. Sorry, guys, it's an internal joke. Yeah. So that's why I ask you. That's why I'm asking.
This is a problem with technology. You talk about a portion of land you have never even visited.
And people are asking directions from each other. It's a varsity plek. So yeah, Jakes, if you're listening, we're sorry.
I gotta love
We're sorry.
Namibia.
But I was laughing when Jakes told us that joke. He was like, "Are you serious?"
Like, so I'm gonna sing it.
No, but here was the funny. You remember the funny part was that they were told, "No, it's like 30 kilometers on a gravel road,"
Yeah.
and they were driving for 2 hours.
30 kilometers.
That's the funny. I love Namibians when they do that. No, it's just close. But then you're driving for 2 hours on a gravel road,
Just 30 kilometers.
and then it's not even 30 k's. It's not even 30 k's.
You know, I mean, there's no way you'll
They
drive a
drove-
30-kilometer distance for 2 hours.
No, because they literally drove, from what I could estimate, Helmut, was literally that it was more than 100 k's.
It has to be more than 100
It
k's.
has to be more than 100. But yeah, in that scenario, we really need to interrogate the actual history of each. Helmut, that's where your creative, your historic, your actual tourism starts from.
Yeah.
You start building from a base of, you go look at the street names. Who are the street names in this country? Now, one of the things, which is one of the travesties that I don't like what the politicians are doing, like the local authority politicians, they go and change street names.
They're not supposed to change them.
No, they can. I'm not saying don't.
Yeah.
But firstly, do the history of the city justice.
Yeah.
The history of the city didn't start in 1960. Let's also be factual.
No, it didn't.
It didn't.
Yeah.
So we need to go and understand, okay, where does this history come from? Yes, we've got, and it's one of the reasons also why I love what the Americans do. The Americans and South Africans.
Yeah.
They basically accept there's a colonial history. Accept the colonial history. Don't try and rewrite facts. Don't try and change stuff. Accept it. Incorporate it
Just
in your
let history be
exactly. And
as
then
said as it was.
yeah, you tell the story of
Yeah.
what was.
Yeah.
And then you bring in the other history. You combine your histories to give a complete story.
Yeah.
Not for Dwight to go and read to go and buy 5 books about the first civilizations in Southern Africa, how they were, basically decimated because of colonial history, and the stories that are not told. Because these are the injustices that happen with people who want to be tourists in their own countries. Hamud, you will see great value when you realize you can attract people, let's say a Vantuker like Helmut, to, what's that place that I saw last year? That mining town that's older than Namibia, Abanap. If you go there, Helmut, to realize there was a whole installation of what could have been a town. Underground rail connecting Tsumeb and Grootfontein. Where have you heard of this, Helmut?
Now, underground rail. That is some
Okay, to get there.
engineering.
It's an engineering feat. Before 1920. Understanding such particular historical significance.
Yeah.
Now you want to just tell people about where the sand and the sea meet. There's another accusation. If you go look up online about what European tourists are saying about Namibia, but these wide open spaces, but they don't see anything for kilometers. I think that British couple probably told you that as well. Wide open spaces, but they don't see anything. They just see a bush, a tree, a cow, a goat, a donkey, someone's, warthog somewhere, the V16 reverse parking specialists.
Reverse parking must.
That's all they see, and then it's just humans. And then just empty landscape after empty landscape after empty landscape. The view, yes. But then that tourist goes and interrogates, what happened to this view? Now, Helmut, we're at the forefront now.
So they run. So they find a fort. They find an old building. They are curious to know what it was
Happened
before it
there.
was this.
Exactly. And then they only get patchy information. Like how I found it interesting to hear that there was tilapia that swam from Guinas Lake to Lake Oshikoto.
Lake Oshikoto, yeah.
Because there was a guy trying to experiment with things because he saw it was just water. And it's one of those settlers that try to have, a lovely harebrained idea, and then they throw in a species that's not indigenous, and then the thing populates the whole aquifer up to
And
Lake
now it
Oshikoto.
doesn't have a natural predator, so
Exactly. So now you technically can go and fish that fish in Lake Guinas
yeah.
or in Oshikoto Lake. The question is just the story behind how that fish got there is the intriguing part. That's the human to human connection.
When it comes to things like that, my first question always comes down. Hang on a second. How old are the cave paintings, like at Brandberg, for example?
What's that? Actually, let's start from the start. There are three installations of super old. You're asking about Brandberg?
Like,
No, Irongo Mountains.
Irongo Mountain.
Yeah. Let me quickly just be sure about it, because it's a Google search, because it sometimes conflicts, Helmut, with this other academic discussion that's taking place in the world, which Namibians are not part of, which is about where humanity actually began. The South Africans are so far making the best, most convincing argument.
Yeah.
You remember Lucy?
Yeah.
The South Africans were the ones that had Lucy.
Yeah.
And then they had, is it Naledi?
There's one,
The one of 2020.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but there's this area where that was discovered. They call it what's that? Is it Adam's calendar?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was found by a pilot that was found by accident in 1994 when a pilot crashed a small plane in that area. So I think in rescuing him, a lot of people realized that there was this unnatural old formation, and after a series of excavations, they realized that there was a thriving civilization on this part. On this part, and it's one of the oldest, civilization. And to this day, they can't actually, there's still a debate on what it was. That's why a lot of people call it, Adam's calendar, in reference to being it's that old. So it was, they say some kind of a rock alignment that points into, according to experts, that points into some kind of device being used a long time ago to tell time.
Now, one of the ways that they obviously try to tell time in some cases now, for example, okay, so I'm using the Twyfelfontein, which is where you'll find the White Lady. Twyfelfontein is where you'll find the White Lady, which is part of that UNESCO site thing.
Yeah.
They state here that Twyfelfontein itself is probably 6,000 years old, because they have found proof of people living there, potentially 6,000 years ago. Now, there's another cave, Helmut, to the south of Namibia, which is, what's that one's name? I almost said Crocodile Cave.
Seriously?
What's that cave's name? Apollo Cave, yes. If you search Apollo Cave, Apollo 11 Cave, or Apollo Cave in Namibia, the rock art there. The rock art there, Helmut, and this is the funny thing now. When you Google search, when you Wikipedia search these various installations, they estimate Apollo because it was carbon dated, and it's on a guy's farm. This is some of the travesties that happen in Namibia. Some of these fascinating, historical, rich in telling the stories of the first human civilizations is on a guy's private farm. Now, yes, the National Heritage Council, they confirmed it.
Yeah.
They work in conjunction with people like with the Irongo Mountains cave art now.
Yeah.
I just told you about Twyfelfontein, where they've discovered proof that people lived there for 6,000 years back. Ne?
Yeah.
Guess how old is Apollo 11 cave? Just guess.
Older?
Just guess. Give me a number.
10?
No. 30 30,000 years.
Holy cow.
Now, if you look at the discussions about the first humans, nah, the first humans is literally like a 50 to the 60,000 years ago. Like the proper humans with proper civilizations forming. Remember the older cities discussion we had with the UN Habitat thing?
Yeah.
Where we looked at those 2 Turkish sites.
Yeah.
Nah? Those guys were technically not far off from these Namibians, these Africans.
So the civilizations may have been thriving at around the same time.
But remember, Southern Africa is different. And remember, the continents were closer. The continents were closer. Now, I told you now about Dragon's Cave, Dragon's Breath, the cave.
Yeah,
the-
Dragon's Breath. Yeah.
The access point to the aquifer
Yeah.
also has rock art in it. It also has rock art in it.
Okay, so just one question, and I'm headed somewhere here. Why is it called the White Lady?
Because of the pigmentation of the one symbol. It's one of the things that archaeologists look at. They look at what tools did you have.
Yeah.
It's like the living standards measure that we in advertising or in the communication media realm look at. When you look at what kind of listeners are listening to your programming, what kind of readers are reading your magazines and newspapers, and what kind of viewers are watching your TV shows and stuff like that. So you look at where are the decision makers and stuff like that, right? Now the archaeologists use the same kind of methodology, but the methodology is now based upon what kind of tools did they have back then? What kind of a diet did they eat? What kind of did they have anything to communicate on these rock paintings of what their life was like? Now, the White Lady, if you look it up, is literally because it's a pigmentation helmet that was used in just that one image on that rock art. So they looked at the pigmentation. That's why they call it the White Lady. It's nothing to talk about anything in what they call that thing.
It's not that
Any UFO conspiracy, supporting analogies. Definitely not. It's just it was cited in that they used the pigmentation, so they had means of creating color. Then there was the there's the interesting thing about that specific cave or caves close to that cave of Twyfelfontein was it was another story that I heard about, that how French archaeologists, what they did was that they found this cave, and then they started like cleaning the sand layers of the cave.
Yeah.
And then they discovered like proof of human presences at every level at every soil structure level within the cave. So they literally discovered, like you've probably seen that diagram, what they've shown of some European roads, that some of the European roads are built on old Roman roads that the Romans built, and the bridges that the Romans left, bridges that are 3,000 years old. Now, if we look at these particular things, your tourism sector, Helmut, definitely can span from there. Your tourism sector, Helmut, needs things like the cultural sector from the public sector to be invested in. Helmut, I can't go to a house now. Okay, I'll do this experiment on Friday. Even though I've got an event on Friday to cover. I'll do this experiment, Helmut, just to make the point.
Yeah.
I will walk through that facility just to potentially pick up one or two extra details that I probably did not know. Talk to the curator at hand. But your observation, and this is one of the things that always helps researchers, is that you observe what's there. Your observation will basically reinforce a scenario that you know of. We in Namibia, we're not taking Namibia's history serious. Namibia has a lot of stories to tell. Namibia has a lot more on offer, Helmut, besides just godforsaken dunes. I don't want to see sand, guys. I know there's sand. I don't want to see sand. I've been to Udusip. I feel sorry for the people living in the Kuisip. Helmut, there's a heat wave coming over those dunes there. You can basically bake everything outside. You won't need even natural gas or gas stove or even any format of modern cooking. You remember that thing that you and I
Except
were
you're
joking?
gonna get cooked too. I mean, it's the sun.
Yes, Helmut, because your feet are burning through your shoes.
Oh yeah.
Your feet are cooking through your shoes. That's how hot it is there.
Cheers.
So, in the reality of understanding the history of this country, there's a lot more on offer. Can I tell you another story just before we quickly take this live read?
Yeah.
There's a guy I interviewed during COVID here on Eagle FM when I started out. He's trying to run up a Swakopmund based genocide memorial kind of a scenario, because he's literally defending like the proof of the genocide at Swakop. There's an old cemetery there, Helmut, that the one of the accusations that he's made before is that the town council and invested members of that community are trying to erase this historical evidence. This is one of like the proof, one of the element, it's almost like the smoking gun that you need in forensics. So you've got the gun, but you're looking for the bullet. Where did the bullet go? Now that graveyard is literally the bullet. You're looking for the bullet in your forensic analysis. He's the only guy defending it. He's the only guy that has been trying to keep that particular significant part of Namibia's history protected. One Namibian, one guy. Now, I'm telling you a reality based off a core part of Namibia's history that defines Namibia today. But in the discussion, from what you can see, what his uphill battle at the time was a scenario of how we really did not treasure historical elements in this country. We're not bringing, we're not building like, Helmut, I can think of all the places in this country that can have a significant museum installation. Windhoek can have like 2 or 3. Windhoek needs to have more art galleries. Swakop needs to have at least 2 or 3 museums and at least 5 art galleries. Your tourism sector is not just about looking at sand and at an animal and, living museums here and there that are like 500 kilometers out there in the bush. No one wants to drive out there in the bush. We're also consumers. But the scenario is that we don't see the picture. Yeah. We'll quickly take a live read, dear listeners, and come back right after that. Velvita University for the 2027 applications that are now open for the Faculty of Health Sciences for the following programs: Certificate for Enrolled Nurse Midwife or Accoucheur Level 6, Certificate in Pharmacy Level 5, Diploma in Environmental Health Sciences Level 6, Bachelor of Social Work Honours, Bachelor of Nursing and Midwifery Science Honours, Postgraduate Diploma in Community Health Nursing Level 8, Postgraduate Diploma in Occupational Health and Safety Level 8, Postgraduate Diploma in Mental Health Nursing Level 8, Master of Public Health, and the Master of Occupational Health and Safety. For more information, please call 081-403-6406. Velvita University, where everyone is an achiever.
And a quick break, and we'll continue on the other side. Home Run with Helmut and Dwight on Eagle FM.
lipuranengeno wapumbwa eva tere ulikoni maondudu toingida ashike kapeno nweku dite opoye ekukulile oshafafana nongeshe faili meholamo ihoetike kovano ile koshiwana onongeshe fa yapumbwa kukaraya kovano okupitiramo Eagle FM otuna ebitoda njuka okukwetera oipindi konu kondado nawa nuneudo otukwetera o special ngetashake ngeshe fa omarudi dayo loka opone ushendi fenawa nokumona oijamo ili nawa ningepata fanona monika ko Eagle FM onora tatu imwe mbali heali nola natu heali mbali no heali ile ko mberewa nora hetatu natu mbali o hetatu batatu o mafelane Eagle FM the eye.
My friend, why do you seem so worried?
Ace, I'm planning an event for next weekend, and I don't know how to best get people to hear about it.
Saima, don't worry about those small things. Contact Eagle FM today. Eagle FM has a dedicated team that can travel anywhere countrywide to broadcast live at any event, such as a promotion, organizational launch, anniversary, wedding, funeral, political or traditional and church events, and basically any event that you wish to broadcast on a national level. Call them now and talk to Monica at 081 270 3727 or the office number 083 2888 400. Eagle FM, the eye.
And welcome back. We are 3 minutes into the hour of 6, so we have 57 minutes left to go. So we still have a lot to cover. One of them being, I think for those of you that are regular home run listeners, you must have figured out by now that every time that we talk about an economy or a type of economy that either Africa or Namibia or Africa overall have to participate in, I want to look at it beyond just us being, being potential market. But I want to look at it from a perspective of, do we have any means of participating in this thriving economy? Because, right now we have a lot of positivities going on in terms of different economic avenues. We have, there was a report on electric vehicles that came out. There's a lot of increase, or more like a potential happening into that into that market. There's a lot of expansion, there's a lot of investment, there's a lot of money getting into the EV industry, and there's a lot of economic potential. But I wanted to look at it from beyond being just consumers. Are we doing anything on an African level or on a Namibian level to participate in this economy? Whether it's in the beyond just being consumers and supplying the raw materials that are then processed into finished products that are making up these electronic components that makes up the overall car. And I want to look at basically even the tourism industry from the same perspective. And I know that the UN tourism breaks things down into regions, and they have a lot of they basically pointed out a lot of positive things about Africa's tourism market. And one of those things they pointed out was arrivals in Africa was up 4%, continued to grow in the first quarter of 2026, with North Africa recording a 4% increase. Arrivals in Sub-Saharan Africa, which is where you and I find ourselves, also increased by 4% in the first 3 months of the first quarter of 2024. Now, this is the tourism industry, and they're looking at just the arrival of the tourists increasing on the at the same rate for both North Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. But this is mostly from a consumer perspective. Well, in a way, we have this tourist sector that seems to be experiencing growth, and Namibia has a very good tourism sector. So when I first basically read all through those positive increase in the arrivals on the African continent in terms of tourism, the first thing that came in my mind is, what are we doing on the ground to not just to participate into this industry, because now to alleviate things like unemployment and basically boost up our overall economy, not just as a country, but also as a continent. So every industry, whether it's the food industry, whether it's agriculture, technology, AI, digital, or just anything that we're talking about on a global level, I always try my best to look at it from not just from a consumption level, because we're 1.4 billion. Of course, we have a lot of consumption, but here's the thing: what are we doing? Are we doing anything to participate? 7 minutes into the hour of 6, and David just joined. And before we continue, we're basically going to continue together until the hour of 7. So let's take a call. Ding. Thank you for calling. That was a wonderful point. Moving on. So, David?
Yes, how is the early evening?
The early evening seems to be good. The tourism industry on the African continent seems to be doing good, but good, yes, general, but as an ordinary African, as an ordinary Namibian, I always want to find out what are we, in what ways are we participating into not just the tourism industry, but just any industry, be it energy or EV. As a continent, are we participating beyond just consumers of whatever product? Even though when it comes to tourism, we have consumers that are coming in.
No, it's quite a very brilliant presentation. I was listening when I was outside there. But one thing that the question which I have is that regardless of the statistics that we have, if you compare North Africa, even the report before this one come out, North Africa has always been dominant in terms of attracting, tourists. The question that we're asking ourselves is that what is that Southern Africa need to do? We have peace and stability, but people are still in terms of coming to us. But also the other thing that I have seen is the aspect of numbers and statistics. When you look at like the current tourism statistic report for 2025, which just came out now, it took long. The previous one even took longer. That is why if you dig deep, compare the current UN report on tourism with the previous one, particularly that happened at the beginning of the year, then you realize that there are also some numbers that Namibia is missing. When other countries are rated, we are not there. Maybe it's an aspect of datas, but you raise a very interesting thing. Apart from now looking at tourists who are coming, how do we make sure that we utilize this opportunity as Africa? How do you make sure that we don't only rely on them, but we develop based on that? Singapore development was more based on tourism because they don't have what we have. But how can we do that? It's one thing to praise that we have everything. The other thing you also said about good intention will not bring anything. No. It's one thing to say, no, we have natural ecosystem such as
potential.
We have potential. And then there is nobody who ate potential, unutilized potential. And there's nobody who ate, unutilized talent and potential. That's why to me, the same question that you also asked is that what is that Southern Africa can do to make sure that when it comes to tourism, it's not only about the numbers, but also about impact. But what is interesting is also that when you look how the world is moving, even if people don't want to say it, Africa is a battleground for global powers. People don't see that. They think we are playing at the same level, but it's a battleground for stronger powers. If you compare tourism statistics, you compare with foreign direct investment. I was actually shocked to realize that developed economies are funding each other more than what we thought was happening.
Yeah. You know that question you asked me yesterday. About how is the US what was that question? The biggest
recipient of FDI.
Of FDI, but also the biggest FDI funder.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting to realize, to say we may think we are at the same table, but the bigger guys are playing with each other. And the question is that what Africa can do. But on top of that, there is, I cannot remember on top of my mind the name, but it's a director within United Nations Trade and Development, that agency that produced that FDI report. What she said is that yes, Africa can grow, or developing economies can grow, but they must stay in their lane. If I have to put it in simple terms, they should not compete to be like how other countries are at, particularly at the advanced level. But the question of tourism, I look at examples, the Windhoek city. I see what has been advocated for, to say the artists, the people who are in the craftsmen, they must be connected with tourists. But look at the way they are positioned. Is that the best we can do? Is in front of Avani.
That and it's not
Is-
just that.
Yeah. Is that have you say, you understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Is that the best we can do? Is that attractive? Or is that the best the city can do?
And that thing there, that facade in front of in Independence Avenue.
And it's also positioning you as bangers. It's also positioning you like you don't have any value. You depend so much on somebody to come and assist you. It's the same case with the readiness of our industry, our tourism sector.
Yeah.
There's no tourism without a bar and a restaurant.
Yes.
But are we people that have good and quality customer case in Namibia? Do we have that? If a taxi driver taking, and I'm sorry to say this, but I have to say it, if a driver of a shuttle transporting somebody from Turkey came to Jose Akutawu International Airport.
Where's Turkey? Oh, from Turkey.
Yeah.
It's Turkey. They changed their name. I was like, is this Namibia?
And came to Jose Akutawu International Airport. The first thing that this person is going to be faced with, people are asking for money. They are not charging at the same standard.
Yeah.
They look at tourists and they look at them as ATM machine, which is actually wrong.
But when I came into the office now, I don't know what's going on, but it seems like we've got like a major begging culture now around the tourism activity sector also.
Yeah.
Just to feed into what you're saying.
Yeah. No, it's what you do, because numbers will not help you if you are not ready. It's the same thing with, and this is an open mistake that maybe was done with good intention. Look at our education system. We produce a lot of quality people, but the industries is not accommodating them. It's the same thing that you can say. You can have numbers.
So we have the misalignment. Helmut, remember yesterday when you mentioned that? We have the misalignment.
Yeah, that's why I think with numbers we must look at what does it mean. And also maybe, I don't want to say the ministry must employ a lot of data analysis to interpret. To say, for example, somebody must be able to explain to say, if you have 2025 Namibia tourism statistics, we show a little bit of a decline in terms of tourists which came to Namibia in 2025. Can somebody interpret that? What sector is booming? What opportunity can we create? Because it's one thing to have numbers, it's the other thing to interpret those data so that they can be used to make, right decisions.
Yeah.
Or evidence-based decision, not emotional-based decision. To say, no, you are going tomorrow or you are coming. But to say you are going because these are the data.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to elevate you because the numbers are saying this. I think that need emphasis.
But that's been the talk now. That Helmut and I, we've also re-emphasized since 2024.
Yeah.
End of 2024 when we did the data interoperability discussion.
Yeah.
Now, David, you it's a good thing you're highlighting that. Associated to the tourism stats that Ministry of Environment brought out last month is immigration statistics. Immigration statistics is closely aligned to Ministry of Agriculture. For example, you see how many tomatoes are consumed, you see how many potatoes are consumed, how much milk is bought and consumed. So you draw a line through the data set. Now, here's the funny thing: the ministries already have those people, those data analysts. It's a regular administrative clerk.
Yeah.
All the person has to just answer is, or the question they have to ask is the data that I'm getting verified? Does it speak to the reality on the ground? And who else can use this? And how am I getting it out into the Namibian economy? Because now I have to hear like today, the discussion you and I had.
Yeah.
Today we have to hear about marginalized and the marginalized segments of Namibia's population from the 2023 census data.
Yeah.
But you and I, the three of us, we know we can just read the census report of 2023 and we get an understanding of the situation.
Yeah. It's quite difficult. And also, going back to the other aspect that you stated regarding alignment, to say when these statistics are coming, are the institution aligning? Are they making sure that the NSA as a custodian of data is in line or is verifying those data? Because one of the things which was indicated, particularly looking at the high-level discussion on national statistics strategy, one of the things which was indicated is that we may have data in states, but the problem that we have is that are we coordinating with each other? Are we in? Are we understanding each other? And are we also up to date? Because the same discussion, we can discuss about statistics as we want, but by the time you are done, a lot of things has already changed in the market.
Yeah.
We are still in 2023. Ne?
Then you'll update.
How are we going to catch up?
Then you'll update your statistics and
Yeah.
continue to discuss.
Yeah,
And
because if you are in 2023 and you are writing an academic paper, you are just 2 years before your source becomes so old that the supervisor will not want it anymore. Which means that in the world of AI, we must upgrade our game to say, where are we? Why the tourism statistic report always take a long time to come out?
yeah,
Because other countries, they already have face of 2026.
what's the speed of data collection?
No,
For example.
believe me, Yune, look at that, read that report again and tell me if we have statistic of 2026 in Namibia.
No, never,
It's not there.
never. But you know what South
Yeah.
Africa does?
Yeah. No, other countries have. I've seen the graph. I've seen the graph of the previous report to say Namibia was always missing when it comes to those statistics.
Yeah.
But 2023, yes, maybe we are getting there, but very slowly.
You're trying to think positively.
yeah. No, you need to be positive. No, the thing is, one thing I believe with all my heart, and this is the most religious thing I will say today, is that the possibility of things to work well is there, but it's not guaranteed within a given time frame unless we change the way we do things.
Yeah.
The possibility of Namibia to be advanced and industrialized is undeniable. It's going to happen. But you also don't need to be shocked that it might happen in 30 years or 40 years.
Yeah, when we are not here.
When you are awake, when I'm a grandfather.
30, 40
Or-
years.
I won't be here.
Yeah.
30
You
and
see,
40
you
years,
see.
that's the minimum.
Yeah.
For us men,
Yeah,
in Namibia, we won't live past 60, guys, please.
No. There's a caller, ne?
Malarepu.
Mayerepo tate.
Hey,
Matagoropo Morogeni.
Morogeni, tashiende.
Tashende. What channel yele down?
On Sprat D2. Okay, we are talking about tourism.
When you may say what? When you may say when you so platinum, boy. Oh, amazing. You money so platinum. Yeah. Who can that may say? Who more men say? Who Nancy? Was the platinum in it? Nams languages. So you guys, let me greet you formally because we might go beyond the. Otherwise, how are you doing, people?
Sharp. How you say?
Cool. Was clanny. You know, I used to speak Afrikaans very well. When I go to look for job, where you find that Kapena Oilonga, that is me, direct me. That is the first word I have heard. I started knowing in Afrikaans. And at one point, I found myself there looking for a job, working. Hey, meneer, wat zoek je hier zo? Ik zoek werk. Dat is niet werk hier zo niet. No, ik kom werk hier zo. So it was so impressive and interesting. But nowadays we are forgetting our own languages, our own indigenous languages. We must go back. So Dwight, yesterday we were talking about historians, researchers, we are not having them and all these things. And they are saying that if you cannot perhaps note some of those concepts and terms in your own language, it will be very difficult for you to translate them into, say, developmental terms. So it will be very confusing. But how do we do it if we do not have those words? And are you saying that the ministry, our institution are not developing those kind of people or what? I'm just still wondering from your conclusion of yesterday that we don't have them. Can't we gather them and sponsor them and give them some bursaries or some, financial boost? Like what
I'll be honest, Angabona.
Yeah?
And it's the same thing that, like last week I went to a workshop, which was a 1-hour workshop. I was so
What are you saying?
But yeah, it worked for my time. But people love asking the question, what do we need? What needs to happen? How do we achieve goals in Namibia? So I'll just be honest. We need money. Straightforward. If you want someone to do something for you, be willing to pay, or be willing to put up the money. So the thing that I made, the comment I made yesterday about we need more historians, we need our own archaeologists, we need our own researchers, more of it specifically, because it seems that NCRST will be bringing out the research and development report. How many years? Because we don't know when the next cycle would be, but we are lacking in the humanities field. I have to buy books every month just to understand what was the prehistoric value that Namibia and Southern Africa has had about before the colonial chapter of Southern Africa began. And I'm reading this about Germans, South Africans, Japanese. There's a book written by a Japanese guy who's fixated with the San communities here in Southern Africa. So we need our own researchers, and our research institutions need to put the money up and pay these people. And then you'll have the likes like David, who will be willing to study political science for the rest of his life in Namibia. Helmut, that will be able to pursue a complete entertainment and cultural and activity in Namibia. You'll have Dwight that would love to become a formal historian in Namibia. But when you ask the question, what do I need to study to achieve that goal? There are clear disconnects to achieve that. And we have major gaps. Major gaps.
Why can't they demonstrate now that those areas that have been identified as gap and needs? Why is it that people cannot be convinced, even when you are talking here, that yes, guys, this is what we need? Why are the people not doing that?
It's potentially the involvement level. Like who is there? I mean, I asked once, what's this the Green Hydrogen Institute at UNAM? I asked the lady, the one lady who's like an advanced student now. She's finished her basic honors degree, and she's part of, because I know her sister, and she said when they heard about green hydrogen, this was like the first time I'm hearing about this particular thing. So in order for us Namibians to stop being caught off guard with developments, and when you look at tourism, Angabona, we can add more value to tourism by having more museums, more art galleries. David mentioned it now, that I saw in front of here in Independence Avenue. Why can't the city of Windhoek just declare that thing no longer a parking and fully make it a craft market, and then it actually serves its purpose? It's close to the consumer, and it's close to the money, and it's very central, and it actually gives a purpose to the CBD of the city.
And we can also then emulate them and start creating those village tourism in the rural areas and all these things. Is it that maybe we who are identifying the needs are not reaching the right people, or is it that is just a denial of availing the resources, or what is the issue? That's what I wanted to know. That's what I want to know. What is the problem? What's preventing us? Is it blindness, or maybe spiritually blindness, or what is it?
Angabona, please define spiritually blind, please.
No, Helmut must be blind, because they always talk about the blind spot or whatever, green, what, or grace, or grey what? or grey spot or something like that. So
Now that spirituality
in
have
that
entered the
context.
conversation, Ekavango must explain.
So thank you very much, guys. I just wanted to because I was following and you are talking about very important things.
All
But
right.
for me, because of my limited knowledge, I don't know how to come in. I don't know how to rephrase my English and whatever. So thank you. God bless.
All right.
Yeah. Look, we will always have these questions, but since we are now in a new perspective, and this is now aligning with that state visit discussion Helmut and I had yesterday.
Yeah.
There's a lot of attention now on Namibia. Namibia will now be in a new focus of what is going on here.
Yeah.
Now, here's one of the things now. We know we've got a tourism sector, but the tourism sector has so many incomplete ends. It's incomplete. It's not fully. It's not a fully shaped and because
It's too clustered.
no, not the clustering. You can still absorb more. There is no saturation. There's no optimal saturation limit because you don't know where it is, Ahmud. But here's the thing: we can morph that beast into something else. We can bring in arts and crafts markets, more of them across the country. We can bring in museums across the country, formalize them, make them bigger, encourage further particular arts and cultural developments and artifacts to be developed, to be given to these museums.
Yeah.
We can encourage, we can open up more art galleries because the artists, we have to be honest, they are professionals. They need a consumer to buy the thing they make.
No, you are correct. I think there's also an aspect of us being able to tell our stories as Namibians and also owning the industry.
Yes.
There was a debate to say when you speak about Namibian tourism sector, look at, not to say bad about other people, look at who is dominating that space. Is it really Namibians who are dominating that place, particularly at the bigger level? Are Namibians funded, especially to compete in that space? You speak about marginalized community. Tourists, they want to learn our stories. Most of them, they've been very interested in the history of Ahimba, of Vatwe and others. They want to understand.
And Helmut mentioned the living museums that they have. Yeah.
What's not to love about USA's special combo? For just 219 Namibian dollars, you can get 5 bags of essential foods, 2.5 kilograms of Champion Super Maize Meal, 5 kilos of Bokomo fed cooked flour, 2 kilograms of nice rice, 1 kilo of selected grande pasta, and 2 kilograms of marathon sugar. That's just 219 Namibian dollars for 5 bags of essential products. Yes, we all save at USave.
The views and opinions expressed by our guests and callers are not those of Eagle FM and any of its staff.
What's not to love about USA's special combo? For just 219 Namibian dollars, you can get 5 bags of essential foods, 2.5 kilograms of Champion Super Maize Meal, 5 kilos of Bokomo fed cooked flour, 2 kilograms of nice rice, 1 kilo of selected grande pasta, and 2 kilograms of marathon sugar. That's just 219 Namibian dollars for 5 bags of essential products. Yes, we all save at USave.
Want to know about Namibia's latest business and economic news?
Welcome back. We are 29 minutes. We have 29 minutes left to the hour of 7. You're still listening to Home Run with Helmut, Dwight, and David. Hard disk drive. And you guys were about to say?
Yeah. No, I was talking about Namibian being able to tell their own story and also to look to have confidence in our own story.
Yeah.
Unlike when you see a tourist, we see money and we start looking like beggars. And maybe also to have a very good understanding of the environment to say if there is a lot of stories, there is a lot of movies, documentaries being done about the history of Namibians, particularly for those who maintain their culture and their standard at that level. There are a lot of movies being played in that aspect. What are the Namibians doing? How many people from Opua have much interest in that. Not them to be presented as individuals to tell stories, but how many of them they own that industry. You speak about the living museums, but the other thing is also about the other aspect of tourism, to say it's becoming so attracting people, particularly looking at cultural tourism. It becomes so diluted because Namibians, we thought things that we had were not imported until we realized that people are still coming to look and understand them. Yeah. That's why the aspect of cultural tourism has also been able to come in to say, to what extent are we preserving that? What is the role of these guys in the Ministry of Education? How do we call them? Art and culture. They are art and culture officer.
Directorate, yeah.
No. They are. There is a position. I don't know.
No.
Cultural officers. They are.
You also find them in the regional.
They are cultural officers, but what do they do really about this aspect? What is their role? Are they coordinating with other institutions, or just for vibes? Because if we are not be able to do that, do you know that you can have less than 1 million tourists in the country, but you made a lot of money, then you also attracted quality people. Because at the end of the day, when you look at those numbers of tourists which are coming into the country or Southern Africa, we must also be able to look at the impact which they are leaving. Not to say, no, a taxi driver was paid 50 euro for a tip, and somebody was given this amount of money, but the real business that is coming from there. Because you also have tourists who are traveling for business. But, getting there, we are getting there. The problem that we are still suffering with now, even in looking at that the global statistic, report on tourism, is fragmentation. If you ask one question, every corner of the class is answering. But you are good with mathematics. You are supposed to answer mathematics questions, and that is your responsibility. And somebody is good with history. That was supposed to be the responsibility. But if you speak about tourism now, as we are speaking, you have the Ministry of Environment and Tourism. You have Namibia Investment Promotion Development Board. You have, how do you call this institution? Namibia Tourism Board, right? Then you also have Namibia Trade Forum. Then you also have an established bureau within the Investment and Promotion Board. And
then you've got the private sector one known as Team Namibia.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Then with all of those, it's not a problem for them to exist. Do they talk to each other?
It's not just that. It's the ministry they find themselves under now.
They are different.
Working in silos.
It's now two different ministries where you had a dedicated ministry for commercial activity.
Yeah.
Now you are split between the guys that only knew mining and energy and the guys that only knew how to shake hands at international relations events. And now, if you go ask those PROs from international relations, how do you guys balance the trade component? Do you guys know what to do? And then they'll tell you, Dwight, you're right. We are there.
Yeah, we are doing our best. Very diplomatic.
No, they said we are there. And I'm like, what does that mean?
But until we come to the point where we know exactly what we want and we know exactly what's stopping us to move so fast, then we can get things right. But for now, we'll still continue moving. The issue of business was solved by the president with one-stop shop at the BIPA. That is what the people are expecting to other institutions to say. Not to say we integrate everything into one or having 5 ministries.
But BIPA's issue is BIPA needs to generate data as well.
Indeed.
BIPA needs to tell the economy.
Yeah.
How many registrations, how many closures, how many businesses are operating, how many, what's that thing that they said, the thing that was waived? The fee?
The penalties.
No, those fees. Those to keep your business name and your stuff.
I know what we are talking
fees.
about. Yeah.
Highlight how many. They should generate this data stuff. Now you just have to hear, if you're a business person, people are saying come and re-register. You thought you're done with the registration.
Data are very important, especially when there is money involved.
Yeah.
Because with BIPA, there was a time I raised that question too, to say you guys, you are dealing with richness in terms of data. You even need monthly updates and statistics to say these are how many businesses in Namibia, not only about those who are registered, but also those who have moved from this scale, from this blanket to others.
Yeah.
How many SMEs graduated to, advanced businesses?
Exactly.
How many businesses start competing regionally? Because you will be shocked that we are celebrating numbers to say these are thousands and hundreds of thousands of registered business or operational businesses. But the question is that, did they grow? How come we don't have a yet internationally competing or continentally competing company yet from Namibia? What happened there? Maybe those statistics will be able to assist us.
And when we had it,
Yeah.
that company is now predominantly owned by, is the Dutch? Is now a Dutch company. So it's no longer Namibian.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting aspect to look at, to say, apart from how many, what does it mean?
Yeah.
How can I use them?
Yeah.
Because you can give me a same report, but I will interpret it differently.
I'll link that to the point that Dwight has made several times. That, when we are looking at the performance or economic size of countries, especially in developing countries, that's the category we fall under African corner.
Yeah.
We like to use a lot of fancy words, like
Yeah.
we have this in terms of GDP, this in terms of of trade. But if you are talking, if you are talking about when you look at all those numbers that you're explaining in very fancy financial terms, how does it link to how it's benefiting an ordinary Namibian or an ordinary African? Drawing that link is, I think it's something that a lot of people will find very difficult.
No, you are right, because it's what it is to say we focus more on things that are not. They can be important, but they will not assist you at that moment.
In
because
other words, we like fancy English.
We like fancy English, and we like to be there at the highest level. Discussing about those problems. Do you know that if we just have to take a random statistics about Namibia developmental trajectory, developmental journey for the past 6 months.
Yeah.
You take how many conferences were held about what is going to be done
in this year.
This year
alone.
How many additional conferences? Just to convince you about the other one, to say we are still on track. And how many? Because it's not only about inaugurating of things, but it's also about how many institutions did we build, how many projects did we complete, how many data we generated. Speak about the data related to 257 million fund that the 8th administration gave us, the young people. Where is it? Where are the numbers? How many people are functional and operational? At what level? Those are things that we are talking about, because that will be another, not only white elephant, but maybe it's going to be a blue elephant if it's not completed. But what I'm trying to say is that, as you indicated, we don't ask those questions to say, what does it mean? What does it mean when the statistics are saying 70% of your population is young people?
Yeah.
What does it mean when the young people who register to vote did not come and vote? What does it mean when you have a proposal, you have an engagement about the drafting of a nuclear bill, but only 10 people that showed up? It's very shocking. Have you seen that?
Or the governor has to show the people away. Yeah? Or the governor has to tell
people do not
basically preposition.
What does it mean? Is it really that people do not understand, or information is not given?
Yeah.
Or previously you did not come back to them? You just come for formality.
Or the awareness creation exercise was lacking. What was it?
And
I know it's the awareness creation, because and this is what the PROs in these ministries have to understand. I'm now gonna hit them over the head with a statement. You've got to advertise. Come and pay the money to us.
For the millionth time. What's your status?
Does not work. Us journalists, we will concoct a sentence there that is not your sentence anymore. that serves our purpose.
Come and speak.
If you want the message to go out verbatim, no, not come and speak. Pay advertising.
Yeah.
We want money. We don't want them to come and speak.
Yeah.
Pay the money and broadcast your message.
Yeah, and it's also
Look, man, if you paid, you can just come and speak if you want to come and speak.
Pay also to come and speak.
It's paying first.
Yeah, pay the money first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this says a lot about if you see only 10 people showed up for the nuclear bill, drafting of a nuclear bill. What does it say about communication that you used to communicate? Things that you used to put on your website. Do people even read it, or you are just wasting government money? What is your communication strategy? Because you need to change your communication strategy. If you have a church, just for example, and you're always preaching, it's only 2 people that are showing up. You must work on your communication strategy. Maybe your style too.
That is true.
You understand?
Yeah,
maybe the way you present, you may have a good message. Because nuclear is very important. I like that, and when it's going to happen here, I'll be the first person to be there because of that. But do you communicate to people? What does it mean? Because other people, when they hear nuclear, they look at war. They think it's an atomic bomb. It's the only relation.
Yeah.
They think nuclear is only uranium.
If you ask Anna Kleta right now, Anna Kleta will tell you that thing that happened last week.
Yeah.
The local people in Rundu, in Kavangoese, were saying, what does it have to do with my life?
You see?
And that is the principal message that was missing. What does it have to do with the life of the person on the street? Now,
not a good time to beg Avango in the studio.
No, but this is Helmut. No, but it was factual.
Don't play victim.
It was factual. It was logical, and it was to the point.
No.
The people on the ground asked Anna Kleta a straightforward question about what does this thing have to do with my life?
No, it's the same. It's also happened in Oshakati.
That too.
Yeah, imagine you can go to Oshakati, send a capital town of the north, if you have to put it that way.
Yeah.
But even people, they did not show up. Engineering students did not show up. Ordinary people did not show up because people do not even understand that it's through that bill that it will impact your electricity.
Yeah.
Because the aim of that bill is to make sure that Namibia has a consistent legal framework to allow utilization of uranium.
Exactly.
But when you say nuclear, people think you want
This
to make them
technology.
kaboom.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work. It's not that way. I think it's just information.
Yeah. Ad break before we come back, guys.
Do you need toiletries and household cleaners? You won't get it cheaper than at USave up to the 7th of June. Get 250mm jars of Vaseline for only 25 Namibian dollars. Smell fresh with Playboy Roll-On deodorant for just 18.99 Namibian dollars. Get 2 kilograms of Surf hand washing powder for just 49.99 Namibian dollars. Get 750ml Sunlight dishwashing liquid for 28.99 Namibian dollars. And get 2 boxes of Cares Maxi sanitary pads for only 12.99 Namibian dollars. USave. Where else?
Welcome back. We're 15 minutes to 6, and well, like I just pointed out, there's a reason why I'm not switching the camera on me, because we are talking about nuclear conference gone wrong in my region. But look, I think this is where I keep going back to communicate. Now, the question that you just pointed out, Dwight, that it's the question that Anna Kleta was asked. Now, imagine someone who doesn't speak a word out of the English language, or just speak basic communication language, but they don't have basic science knowledge to understand nuclear.
Yeah.
How do you explain that to them? Because it's a genuine concern.
Yeah.
You brought this conference to them because it's about a bill that will turn into a law that will impact their life. Now, and they're asking you a question of what does this have to do with my life? It will impact their life in one or another. Now, the question is, how do you explain that in a language they understand?
That is not our job. That is the job of your home region and its officials for the regional council. That is the job of every PRO who doesn't understand what advertising is, because you and I and David, we can see that was advertising. But they just needed to have an advertising budget.
Okay, Terreno, this is how I'm picturing it, how it went. Terreno.
Why are you switching languages?
Ngorova ngatukarana shigongi.
Yeah.
Sha ngamu ya nuclear.
Yeah.
Yeah, ain't no way that's gonna fly.
No,
But
it's not
look,
gonna fly because then they'll ask you what does nuclear mean still in Zimbukushu, and then Helmut.
It'll make you kaboom.
At least in Afrikaans the word exists for nuclear. It's kernkracht.
Man, you guys nailed it. You know how Hollywood like to make, a crazy blonde who is always called a Karen?
Yeah.
I think Africans nailed it, Karen.
No, that one becomes Karen.
No, that one is...
No,
okay. So it also happened in Oshagati.
Yeah, it's happening on Shakati.
So there was a low turnout. But what I don't understand about Oshagati is there was a high turnout at that Husky. But look...
Yeah, look. You know what I'm always saying about imported things. In Namibia, we don't attend imported things. Maybe somebody's capitalizing on our ignorance, or maybe we are not well informed, or those who are charged with the responsibility, they don't do that. Do you know that for a team to move around the whole country, that is a wasting of resources?
No, it's not a waste. David, don't say waste.
No. Look, if you are just doing it for formality,
yeah,
because you are required to do public consultation,
yeah,
but you did not do your communication strategy very well to make sure that people.
Now I understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't fully implement a coordinated effort because you hoped that a WhatsApp communication strategy would materialize in the feed showing up.
You don't want to prioritize the Girl FM so that you can communicate with people.
Thank you, David.
Yeah, you know that's is the same thing I spoke about KPI.
Yeah.
To say you are just fulfilling a duty, but can you really say you consult if you only have 9 people that showed up in that region?
Or like my brother likes to say, Frederico, when
can you really say we talk to the people?
When the PROs are talking to you, then they said, no, we shared the information. But it was only one side talking. They were only presenting on PowerPoints and saying, thank you guys, here's the coffee, there are the sandwiches, klar.
And the information that is sent is not even simplified. Because if my grandmother go and attend the nuclear, the presentation, or drafting of that beer, who is going to make her understand?
Yeah.
Because she's a citizen, she was supposed to participate.
Yeah.
Who will simplify?
She voted. She feels like she needs to understand the subject matter, but the person standing in front doesn't have the patience, or the person in front is skipping key information.
They bring in an expert to give a presentation
who doesn't know the community.
Who doesn't know the community. From there, you sign attendance register. Then there are snacks. Then life continue. That part is very important to a lot of Namibians.
They're doing the Spanish thing by throwing Afrikaans word. I'm like,
yeah. But yeah, maybe we are going to get there. Maybe they are going to rework on it.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah.
Look at it this way. A few days ago, I went through the Afrobarometer report on how youth's interest and basically developmental. Let me just say developmental discussions, because that's what all these engagements are about.
Yeah.
Then they looked at basically youth group from 15 to 24, and then 25 to 34.
Yeah.
One thing they noticed was that the 15 to 24 don't show up to event.
Yeah.
Why does that sound like last year's elections?
Actually, push it all the way. They looked at two main categories. 15 to 34 and 35 upwards. When it comes to attending stakeholder engagements or all these community meetings that relates to either especially economic discourse.
Yeah.
Now, whether it's especially, just think of it in general, public consultations, discussion.
Yeah.
The 34 and below don't show up a lot to these events. They don't show up a lot to vote. They don't show up a lot to these engagements. But so that means the 35 and above show up a lot in number compared to the 34 to the 34 and below. So the only one aspect, I think there were about 5 categories that these two age groups were measured on, were measured in, or were compared in. Now there was only one aspect that the 34 and below dominated in terms of participation.
Yeah.
Protest. So if if you are not showing up for public consultation, that means you don't know much about what's happening in the public consultation discussions.
So every
My question
barometer
is,
basically proved.
what are you protesting about?
So every barometer basically proved that there's a disconnect in the reality, the thinking processes of 34 and below. Sorry, David. Is that still your age group?
We'll discuss that on the way forward. Look, there is somebody who participate in a social event or a political event because of public anger. As you mentioned, protest. In Namibia, you can find young people can wake up and attend a political rally or can go to protest, but they do not have a ground why they are protesting, just because they are angry. It's like somebody was telling me to say, a depressed person can go to a funeral and just to cry, just to make sure that the anger and the situation release the emotion.
People go to funerals for that? You just go to funeral for food.
I thought the people went there for the food.
But what I'm trying to indicate is that if the way we show up at Kasi Vibe is the way we show up at nuclear drafting of bills, if the way we watch this telenovela and all other things is the way we follow Parliament.
No, they must follow us, Eagle FM, Goederse.
Not
Parliament.
The same thing with economic discussions. Because you just find somebody who is very angry. It's an educated Namibian, maybe has a diploma or a degree, and is just saying, I'm very angry. People are corrupt, man. People are just corrupt. I ask the question: who is corrupt?
Who is corrupt?
Where? Is it really that you have facts? Do you know that there are these opportunities? That
It's you know how many fires I had to correct an uncle of mine who just kept saying, the government is corrupt. And I asked him,
which part? Where?
No, it's everywhere. Yeah, but where? Show, let's get into the grains, the granular discussion. And people are walking around with a perception, which you guys have already proven. The perception is there, but if you ask them, okay, now please come and participate, then they also go and say, nah, I've got better things to do. Let me go and watch football or drink a beer or treat an election voting day as a literal holiday, which happened last year.
And I'm always telling people that somebody who don't understand the context of the matter, that person will kill you, not knowing that it's killing you.
Definitely.
People who do not understand things, just even the basics, because they will end up doing decisions just based on what they are thinking. But do not even know what will happen.
That right there is why a German philosopher by the name of Dietrich Bonhoeffer argued that stupidity is more dangerous than evil. Because we have a lot of mechanisms.
No, say that again.
We have a lot of mechanisms. And look, he made a lot of sense. We have a lot of mechanisms of how to deal with evil people. We have, from a spiritual standpoint, we have your traditional healers, your churches. That's a way, if you can look at it that way, of dealing with evil. We have the correctional facilities of the police and all this. All that is how to deal with people that are considered not in line morally with society. But when it comes to someone who is stupid, we don't have any mechanism in place except just ignore them and more often
at your own risk again. I think it's a thought statement, because somebody who you do not know which direction to push the person into. I think our leaders, they also go through a lot, particularly managing people. It's not an easy thing.
Are they managing?
I'm just saying that to say you find somebody who does not even move forward, backward, east or west. You just don't know what the person wants. But the person wants to participate, but the person does not want to listen and read. But coming back to the conversation about consultation, I just hope that we learn from pain, because we have already failed to learn from wisdom. The other thing that we need to learn from is from pain, to say, what does it mean when you have voter apathy? What does it mean when you have because everybody in Namibia need electricity. But when you are saying drafting of a nuclear bill, people think only of nuclear weapon, but people are speaking about energy poverty that we have in Namibia. Just to remind you that the ECB this month again is going to present the tariffs in bags. Is it going to be an increase or going to be subsidization? But because electricity does not have a reverse gear, it's continue to go up unless
David, you and Helmut, you guys must define where you guys get your vocabulary from.
Unless really it comes to the point where we are self-sustaining in terms of electricity. That can only come from showing up at a consultation.
Yeah. Participating in elections.
Yeah, because people think influencing of government is only through elections.
But the downside is also, you can't have the scenario that happened with me last year. I don't know any of the faces in Windhoek East. And I'm voting for people who I never heard a campaign speech from in my life. And I must give a vote. Do you know what's the biggest injustice? Is when you are forced to vote or select 3 options that are not your main options.
No,
so you had to do an inimini.
I literally did inimini mini mo.
All right, we have 2 minutes left to the hour of 7, so wrapping up time.
Okay, conclusion. 1, 2, 3. You start, Helmut.
Goodbye. Next.
It's not a 2 minute.
2 minutes conclusion.
On your side, David, what final thoughts you want to leave?
I think the conversation must be extended. We must follow what Helmut has said, to say we must think and interpret things beyond the obvious. It's not only about the document, but the meaning of the document and how it can change lives. I do not need to have 20 million tourists coming into Namibia, but Namibian people are still continue to be poor. Or the craftsman is still standing in front of Avani?
Yeah.
It's in front of Avani, and for our logistical operators looking like beggars. And these people, they must respect us. So you don't come to Namibia just like you are coming to a charity, charity foundation.
Yeah.
But you are coming to a country, and
Yes.
We can only boost our confidence if we present that. And I think maybe last year also to work on our hospitality sector and how to deal with tourists.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Because it's either we are begging from them or robbing them, one of the two, which is a terrible idea.
We don't
want to get to
begging them or robbing them. But on that note, guys, let's see each other again tomorrow, same time, same place.
Care that builds with you. That's the rollover benefit from NHB. When you claim less than a defined amount of your day-to-day benefits in a year, the unused amount is carried over for the next year, like a savings account for your health. You can use your rollover benefit in many ways, from co-payments to medical costs usually not covered, even contribution holidays. Learn more at nhb.com.na. T's and C's apply. NHB, rooted in care for you.
Your health, your life, your peace of mind. NHB, we're about you.
What's not to love about USA's special combo? For just 219 Namibian dollars, you can get 5 bags of essential food, 2.5 kilograms of Champion Super Maize Meal, 5 kilos of Bokomo Fed Cooked Flour, 2 kilograms of nice rice, 1 kilo of selected grande pasta, and 2 kilograms of marathon sugar. That's just 219 Namibian dollars for 5 bags of essential products. Yes, we all save at USave.
omutiha gutekerwa kaguna ii matina omjo chikao shafathana na longe shifa ya eshiwike moshiwana iye moyawo otaingongotitha mwene anange shifa ya Namibia ompito ombwana wa olonjika tseithanena omayakulo niilandithomwa yoye yongeshefa yoye okupitila mo Eagle FM Media House ngoye twende twiimemeha uuka kombaanga nena karaha omukwashipareki wimwepo yomo programa dhetu moambo dhengera selma konora 81 oneyali Eagle FM, the eye. My friend, why do you seem so worried?
Ace, I'm planning an event for next weekend, and I don't know how to best get people to hear about it.
Saima, don't worry about those small things. Contact Eagle FM today. Eagle FM has a dedicated team that can travel anywhere countrywide to broadcast live at any event, such as a promotion, organizational launch, anniversary, wedding, funeral, political or traditional and church events, and basically any event that you wish to broadcast on a national level. Call them now and talk to Monica at 081 270 3727 or the office number 083 2888 400. Eagle FM, the eye.
No matter where you are, if you have a mobile device, you can tune into Namibia's #1 talk radio station by downloading the Eagle FM app on the Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. Download the Eagle FM app to tune into live Eagle FM programming or to listen to podcasts of previous broadcasts. Eagle FM, Namibia's #1 talk radio station.
Omutiha gutekirwa kaguna imatina omjo chikao shafathana na nalo ngeshifa ya ishiwike moshiwana iye moyawo otaingongotisa mwene ana ngeshifa ya Namibia ompito mbwana wa olonjika tseithanina omayakuro niilandithomwa yoye yongeshefa yoye okupitiraamo Eagle FM Media House ngoye twende twiimemeha uukakombanga nena kala omukwashipareki wimwepo yomo programa
natupandula tupembako kujja kovenduka embako ngashinga olilimo makia na rubanda ndakaddo mikoro uditenga neta dungu minende hai kuti ngo twendekera kuita kudia nakuwa kakunali okuya kudia natumpopifya shia tuntoke rufame fimbweli ondudite kucha monena otulieni pamwe tuli pamwe natate kauruma natuntoke rufonene kudira mikangora mshuna mungone hatukareni kundungi kafana kuhungira nopefimbweli ngotwa kareni hilo hatutokerweni na vita ntisha nadomfio touropota radio kaimo tapiko mbinga inyako ahawe ndiwete samanewo junior pomota tondoka ngaya taratareko hatutongwarushe kucha atupopifa tete avesha vai tupurikine afimane kwa pendo dayo loka nova kwatelikomeshe vovetanera ndurafano nenga kwatelikomeshe vo mikunda no ilongo no itunda nenge akwatelikomeshe yundingosho nokutoporo makende amushe tempopifa na mulipo na kujerimwe natumfiyako nande natuntokerufe no mopaife ngino ndote kucha mpako tarungumine poro harama etu yomtumwa atuhungire nayo nomonena ndote kucha tukakaramo na tate Primus Joseph o kwa kara rongere mwana fau na paife kulinga peumbo ndiwete kucha nena hatukapopsa omangano vanailonga takuti ngo vanailonga kavena vali elinekero mu mangano vanailonga naro mangano vanailonga kwali hapopile ongo twatira tapatukununa tatulanu pamwe ndepeife nawe yapwa iketa amoro wa mambinga antadi mirongi tashunamo oshiwana keshifiku shimota shiwongo kashine yapo kuja kashina ilonga hatunyengwa nepeife kucha ano system twetera boshiki shanu abatu abwatuka konga konje nde abatu yongife ilo bakaongerwe hatu batarashike shabongo wa monota fimane konge ngadira mo politika ilo elimo politika onyengwa bavenga twanyengwa tunendo kotora tunashike no reporta natango taipopi anu graduate mo agriculture and president mirongo nena yali anu okenilonga fionena shatu kufeke konje ilongo tulimiko kuteka tupewa kilongo ndeke fiko konga tukataro vano ngenelo ya turongifa mushilongo anenenu tarongifero ya mushilongo hakatarako South Africa oshimashota hitutilifanga mushilongo anombolio system ile poshiki ngengo shinare kucha anma vananduva ongifeke na ngushu ushafo tahitinga shashingeno anmo bohakalele pwane nenu wetu no ipangero wetu ipangero vaitila paifano overile poshiki ndoko toro dada dopu interview opo mo chucha muko na konongova bwabo yangano labo mutubo kutulano ko shivalo takuchova dopa befono wanyengwa ne kucha ano system ya education utwila ndulila mbolishiki shashi abatatu muno nake fikoliro ta kofe tax paid de twana wakafutiru itajo kwiteva rongi fataka tara chaina ndahidulika chaino vene kuongerwa bomo ground udepi mapapu mbwe ikuli ate ilongwa ke mushirongo tapukata rwa shikeshiki mbuto detu na diali kamtaka tara artificial the dime laboratory ya ana ilongwa tuli muju mushirongo shetu shashi anenenu wetu wambwa kuya poruyela kucha shote tulongele shikiano ngenge shita tulongifo ibofo po yali yopo nayo mifinda ditiliana yo efishiro tano takatalelo yako South Africa mwatunero yadiringa bimushirongo ini mayo te yanje shike oshatu te yapo shilongo shashina tulongifa nuko mushilongo opova ko home kaveriko ni makucha na mondali kafe numba mondala kukafa numba ngaro ikatwiwe tena nde nawo pamwe wako to abamwama ko mwiwetengo onyena nera onena atuka karamo na tate prims tale na pomanga na ilonga yao nefimboro akalashi ne peife ngahasha shinkoto ponga dimo wakarango shiriosho nafau na neilonga kucha yo kushiwete shilinga ipisha shi babwati no ngenge yako ntundajo pwamono kona wandi hai ono kuna kupopya shashi apotapo piko mali udwa ndi tapo piko ashota shinwiliki tate ko rumo mwato koropo tu yeah ai tulingo ai to ditike na wani ulimwombi ngambela iya aende yote wapitila ko kapate
iya aipo ndio te kuchoto bitike
iya
ai zotakura pona ndio wakundwa inji njikashinengere ocho chino kango ino kalio ngongewe hapo pitanga
no shingenge no shikasheka ituno abesho twakunda
shakati kamene kwa kundwa
na lodinde nengangana mulile mbaba no
tikiri no
na tikiri na kwati yengonga na shiki aishi tuyakunda
no igere mana nikaina kayo ba
aya shekesho ndo wetu neyo kalili kontu na vangu ihali wana bufiku tuyakunda na bavende membuli uwemba wakarunga utapewa ko mweni ato ningeni ngoma kala pe na lodita mukilile
ewa ai apolo family mambe bako likenga shinkwetu ipo pingane kucha kwa kundwi atukanya takunben na nduvu na tango na nene mikunda na nanga ndakunda ndishite ndishite nanga ye programa trima mponga shito ndite kujo tripa moya marwanda nina kwetu mangina tu yakone ai sokoya tata indurani
tate kuru France kwa tirifa ngongoro
ya
France angemwe shiva the midfielder da digala dingi mekerere ngoro kande
yake nda misingamo kwani kwa yake no kukwata mbe kapeno ntu kwani no kukwata mbe
ushine ya ushibuchangenge neno todana na France na Spain todana no Barcelona amatibenya atondoka nale okurongifa ndebele obotelongifa mbambe obotelongifa orisi attacking paifo midfield ya yuluka ototula no natuko minganya ototula waningila nacho kwateke winga paifo wapo kukulela bakoroso matanga Spain tapitira mukati ko midesha shishita te ya mokemu aba veri okuitashu na kunya paifo ombambo vadipa o midfield yote ilongifa ku Spain amativenya aputondoki wake ku yamala ta malangane tapitira
ya Mbappe kainane ne chance mbwa
ite dimono omatanga mbaba dile mokati ninalinga enyo to dipa bambi kunangi ilongo ametipwa mwene jujwa di dulenga shashi utwango shirungwa shidana na ndeshasha kwa kushikwa akaleke bafavanma ngaifura niso kwa ya enu kore dikata ikongoroshi kwa ningo mapuko mapu ni aningo mapuko ni ya no mwene na hidulikane na oveto tale ne kucha amenovo vosoka ovara mesakara mo udukapa moroike veshikucho dura ya khunina kwa denga na Ronaldo ono kwalie kwete na Messi obambe bambe ngana kwasiko yorongoroshi kwa pita bona tango Messi paife bambo efereta na kahanga shapoko game atange mwali Messi paife nena Messi inoki hanga ngengo shirongwe shuri moto chota shikanyo komo serious engiranda ike watu tongeni nenapa rucha kino kunange kola yali tara iko soka shiki kurombora kujote kalini ngepi nena mesi kuna kusiko wanjo not opo vatre por iko ta kucha nalitae enele iko ta difficult
but anything in helpenta natu tunakutara minga ambali adike keshima shiburu kuningwa nena
yes
mes kun yonena keshima shiburu kuningwa
ami mwene ontari osoka oyenda feko box inotelela ukale wakataira oponenda ili moshilongo sha ndini denga ya pedu ilo shapo tu idenge akucho animation decision na watu taiti ne yala kujango kala ningutunu ndeta ingo tu orfolonda wadengwa iki no soka inango ke imakeringa ngero watare na wa moilongo yetu ya tushimon ma ikeshashi viaro tadro oshimata shiningwa ndi type mala umota shishuni fukano koni mangero watare ilongo ya Afrika shimata shishuni fukano ni mashashi onaturokola mara kima okakunasha iketangola tondo kanale mara itokeshimona litashiningirwa ilongo
so sitangani yanga shino ya Spain ambara 50 shashima na kweli guma
okwatale la kwita mono koni maka yo kwaja kungero tocho back touch eshaka changata chutafangetanga okwe nenalita kuchoperende unakutarini mayo osoka amekwa ameshindiwe tunyunya ushi wala amesi shimasho arushe Messi ngero watare nando yerimo na Ronaldo apokali ilonga baldo onge data maker kwa defender ke goal ngeke po introduce ngiro Messi na Ronaldo ana imari we sponsor adini ngimari wa manmo onge ne ina diara kukani fo dala fiota diviki ko final dalo le ko taya opo dimone moshia mo akwata jarwa shike ini mayo oye tufekeshi tulimirongo ya Afrika atu popina nde papa wa tatudru kuchane na tukufoka wenda tutara konantai usho inatokana kwa shuda kwa pashi ai konanta yako twaja okamwa pena tu vitu veke mondangwa tu hivyo ondangwa shipiti firo yake ameche kondangwa shipiti firo ndangwa ayo nale yo munyu ni ukolo mwajaro no kaolo ya duru keno kengwe divo bodiane shakati malana politika bantu lako kesho ngo kangelipo mbinga upate ini ngweke ukako mbinga unyota trust lako mbinga kwamba unyota tulako fione no ndangwa ke no starakichi onyeka ipopi onyeka ya
oshigambo yangapi yelimepangero yapitira moshigambo binangwengi ndeno kanjira kote kwa kake mosiko pepe moshigambo
oyo shiyango shampo monono pa itenda teta ipiti komba dame ande kamene ke shijirimu pa ifo shingurwa
santi shinguru yanali hipa ife kashi oshima peshi kwata pa umwene pena pa tapopi iro mikunda ushike itunda ili yali pa ifandi pope onaina oshigambo zono ndishinda kala closer nayo ambara ono penantu yani anungame ngayo osheno shaitu kucha shai nyoshini pone shetu akuje paifenge tutaro nthi wapitipo owaningo oshikoto paife onima ombere oshikoto paife onaina atamekerunaki boponga patamekwana onongere koponga atamekere kumandongo hono oshigambo shatamekunaki antu eke alia yewe teko enjia ikombada uviteko oyazi moshigambo nde paife natango onda moneta afura upe passe que menda ndenda po oshiro nde apura kuchalo mento taningishike pono anaya tuningo oshike taningo tandano mavike ne tandano skudano mavine kamuna shashike nandina
ushiku chasho tuna onde anoshuluko nonda tota nonda kwata shange ano otuna onda kwata shange ke nafikuli mwe ninge shimano ngeo hapo pineno pate iti pa mwitondike sheke watongo ndangwa toango angwena odolo payo nale yakula yalukirwa na wangwena sheke atembru hapo anu balame keke shikango no kenana shashi bakutwa wata te hapo mutu atarapa bama sheke atupopinga otuna onima wete shawadimo mangino wangu angwena peno odolo pa yafimana hapa pokati ne ngado dakara ngadi na nomeva na shikishiki kudiweta limo mepa shatu kala tuna okapate pata abaningwa kunanjaba pafo marambo atufuti fotendi bunyano talongo rutenda ne no pango de pedirongado orutendo lalio vano marambo ananjaba aliano ontafutwe ko tendi ontaimonga pangaru italishi dimga ka olishishi shashanu volo shiria shenduru ndi pupulu na nduka campaign kuna fikuri mwe otoyo alanga ikende totondongi ukapate kamunja upata vidimbru kama fimboronali pefe kamunja tati ofeni honorable governor kwekatameka kana ntaifione no keneke tu atadinuka omongo atendo president no minister ngatu ikongereka fieko nena shatu popi nde dupele tako ni ngono detu ashiko shilongo tashinga komisha shatu tale ne na wanatango toka no Kongo ke shione na nde bifa no batondo kavuka beni Kongo ke shione na ka maro te talike kiringa shamwa turo SME yote ke kucho Kongo ya develop pamoja tiko pwino shipangero ondango pave shatu popinga ongwe divini putu diruiringa pi ina no shipangero shakula clinical dream health center dream ngapi eluwa nima inima oshokiringa clinical dopo umwene manga medipack omenela dish ediwa malo ndango yapo nake oshipangero peke shafiwa mvungu ngunywa
osike natango indongo mweina
mweli ya
mundango muno
nothing ngengo atale na watate odoropai anwesha twifingi kombada edu 7 hatu dimbo funda pa hivyo mndango twivu nyonnaike no marobo takuche ki Afrika mwa pa hivyo tamwani nginanda bela nyi Afrika mamona ondango ga inafiku limwe shekene no kwa kansela no mbataru lirwa ko tuka ko minga ngine mingeno no posa
ya omea wene mo oma shaiko mulale ile komandango totondo motate ku
shima shitu difana yi
totondo mo kanzi chakwe tu pamwe papukanga ndeka tulio mpingeno de menda ya ndango akwe to shiri
anoshike
oteto genda
anoshike twatondoka tukatongembero wa kansela ava futwa kimari waitu embele wado unyuni wemburu watungiro malero nzuru akaro embere wako angwe nano mondangwa manguliro oikoma pangero etu peife he akunyange vala kukamba ina ya momo uhamba itatungwe embere wado otoka fimane kalie ngengo yekutemeno ndiro atupumbiwe ike na politika yetu ovamoneke kucha anuve tu nzuru akaro kulondelerwa ike vantu akaliyo endunga kumbada oshoke tunakukale ningao ngeluambo upumbiwa natukwateni nao inatutondokele nye komite alande natutungenye emberwa anma patadi pefo direko patadi dairwa ko mali ngeda tungirwe ko ya nifani bieke opoke tuliopo marini maita twitale opo nga tujesha tutike parliament atushongolo tukamo mikunda tukamo no mikunda tupewo madu
oyenji
kashirimo njira
kushimba toya tuzero ka horo mandangwa pekara fono po ipeno kuningwa ehara tali dimurukitha no ya kwetumba ya kararanari de paife penashike kapenasha kapeneke umwe amweleno onzo watale kucha ushimashina shikare o history antu akaleta atara nuno ya tale kucho shike shira shiringwapo kapenangu tashuru kweti mariwa natango kapenangu atale
upsaka diwetu ana politiko vetu likifa ono twaterwa nutadiko ko ardap ya ninge tonu pola na ndangwa ne doro kelishina dali rwapo paiva tu wala tukamo nifa chini huna kefiko tunetungo achina tukalongifa okwatu kelo mikuli imali okwatu ishuna pevi mali oya akundala ya mone material ko China ni kulio ko China ta kufa chaini oshoke tulinga umwambo ati uno kuna ngono kwa fingwa kuno nyati aluka pamwifi maitali yake shiyo mombwetu na shotali hotela diapo na shotali mombwa hapo twaningo nangala nali ngompenduka na vali nene moshilongo takula unona katuneke tundakano kuchi akatuneka ali ukililo keshe shimwe atu cheko tashingine shiki iro Amerika shinasha patale tu yali ngwa ko shidila patale ni mara hito popinga wano vekuete ikitu inya mukevele ngo umeme
yeah ai na tieko mekono por kama eto ndito kucha to ete tapitsa ponga manga icha no matumburo tagepe terenga shiwana tashipuranga uneno ankala motalo meko tanti na Rwanda na ka ulmo ya psia ai oshiwana ashia shibruka shiepo zeta chipura kucha alumento onenga muri popepe ni kundane kikonkori ikutare ndengo atarashiri oshiri totaro shigambo totaro naena ondoro pandano dakara ngika itocho ondoro paningo tochi kwashikara de opena munu ngame nguya kucha otse topo tabarwa nengo shaetu sono shetu sheni no jana oshimana shikaisho shiwana ini mwenjo to ikwata ya fayo pa umwene sono asheto maudi upaife makatiketu kucha oshiro twapukeni hatu patini maike to ikwata pa umwene ndeka na patu yenna ndenande tulongeni tutareni kucha oshimangere onjo konna na yota ite yarura oshigambo yanga pia pitira ngete kucha omapitira no minister ngikada afika no punda tu no punerwa ndepa ifengo atara kwa natara kipindi barabara
omutiha gutekerwa kaguna imatina omjo chikao shafathana na nalo ngeshifa ya eshiwike moshiwana iye moyawo otaingongotitha mwene ana ngeshifa ya Namibia ompito ombwana wa olonjika tseithanena omayakuro niilandithomwa yoye yongeshefa yoye okupitiramo Eagle FM Media House ngoye twende twiimemeha uukakombanga nena kala omukwashilipaleki gwiimwepo yomooprograma dhetu moambo dhengela Selma konola 81 33 765 Eagle FM, the eye. My friend, why do you seem so worried?
Ace, I'm planning an event for next weekend, eh? And I don't know how to best get people to hear about it.
Simon, don't worry about those small things. Contact Eagle FM today. Eagle FM has a dedicated team that can travel anywhere countrywide to broadcast live at any event such as a promotion, organizational launch, anniversary, wedding, funeral, political or traditional and church events, and basically any event that you wish to broadcast on a national level. Call them now and talk to Monica at 081-270-3727 or the office number 083-288-400. Eagle FM, the eye.
No matter where you are, if you have a mobile device, you can tune into Namibia's #1 talk radio station by downloading the Eagle FM app on the Google Play Store or on the Apple App Store. Download the Eagle FM app to tune into live Eagle FM programming or to listen to podcasts of previous broadcasts. Eagle FM, Namibia's #1 talk radio station.
Omutiha gutekerwa kaguna imatina omjo chikao shafathana na nalo ngeshifa ya eshiwike moshiwana iye moyawo otaingongotitha mwene ana ngeshifa ya Namibia ompito ombwana wa olonjika tseithanena omayakuro niilandi